/ Vitamin Shop on Russellton Ave here, or on Common Ave. Everyone is to meet here if they're not assigned to anything. Supervisors and officers. Where do you want me to take it off? Charlie 8 to Charlie 9. Charlie 9. John, I need southbound Boulevard. I need a traffic chief at Lawn. Stop in the outlet range. I need one just in case something gets behind them. And then I need another car just south pushing into the inner lanes. For northbound, we're fine to let it flow. I just need cross traffic from westbound Common to be shut down. On Russellton Avenue, I need traffic shut down. Captain DiNonato was going to spearhead this for me. I need a traffic chief pushing westbound on Common, westbound on Y. We need no traffic coming between those two blocks.
It's on fire. It's not under control.
Hey, 380 Charlie 8. I got a 14th district car shut and blind at Russellton. Charlie 8, I receive. I just need traffic to take over those locations. Once you resume, come into the mall and meet us over at the T-Mobile inside Roosevelt Mall. Stay in place until properly relieved by traffic. All personnel with no being held, or all personnel with no direct location right now. Meet Charlie 8 at the T-Mobile Common
Avenue, yo.
Westbound Common and westbound Y will be blocked off.
Yo, somebody
all directions are coming from Charlie 8 and Isaac 1 at this time. The third station area will be at the LA Fitness. WPRW is going to be 6:53 p.m. US 3, be advised, behind the scene in the alleyway of crowd forming, about 4 houses from the active fire. All right. Which one? Good, sir. We can have someone pull traffic northbound on Russellton from Roosevelt Mall, please. It's pretty jam-packed over here. All right. They need traffic. DO2? We're physically walking out to Russellton Avenue. We can't move cars. We're physically trying to move the traffic out of here. It's jammed out here. I don't know what's holding it up. So give me a minute to walk all the way over here and see what's holding it up so we can move it out of here. Okay, sir. Highway 30, we're at Russellton while we're moving the traffic north. Okay, Highway. Charlie 8 to Charlie 9. I also want Glendale shut off. If we cut traffic there and not let anything southbound, direct them east-west at that location. Charlie 9, do I have a traffic supervisor on here yet?
Oh, yo, what the fuck? Crashed right off the boulevard at Cottman Avenue. It's on fire. It's not under control. It looks like a side street.
That transmission wasn't clear.
Charlie 9, how many units does X2A have with them?
Yeah, this is crazy, dude.
Frank, I need some officers at Cottman and the Boulevard. We got a large crowd starting to form. I got to clear the intersection, please. I'm not cars, just officers. All right, any units available, take Cottman. 30 personnel here. I'll send 5 down. Thank you. Work 2 Charlie. Work 2 Charlie. Just for information for our incident commander, the fire department's incident command is going to be at the top of the block of 1700 Calvert Street. If you need a liaison here, you want to let our incident commander know. All right. Okay, myself and the command staff are all heading that way so we can liaison over there. Okay. Next, I got six personnel going to Cottman and Boulevard. Which one? How's it going? Do we have someone in the rear of 7200 block of Hanford Street, 7200 block of Leonard Street? I think somebody in the rear. Hey, sir.
Highway 37, we are methodically clearing each alleyway right now. We're starting with Calvert and Rupert, I believe. We just cleared this alleyway on the east side of the block. We're setting up tape and we're going to move on to each alleyway.
Okay, sir. Excellent, good. Charlie 8 to Isaac 1. I'm heading over to you, Chief. What do you need? Bay Snowflake can come in, and he will get personnel to help clear these side streets.
Charlie 8. Charlie 8. CO2.
Yeah, we're pulling the traffic out now. I'm out here with Highway 380, 280. We're pulling all the traffic out of the mall right now. So it's high volume. So we got to give us a few minutes here before it's moving.
Okay, sir, bye.
32. I got about 40 bodies to spare at the moment. Where do you need them?
How many bodies?
Charlie, common and officer, then we push back.
Charlie 8, Isaac 1 on the air.
Isaac 1.
Be advised, Dirt Bike X-Ray has 40 officers where you wasn't deployed, sir.
Okay, I guess right now let's go to the staging area.
Go to the staging area.
34, I can use a couple of bodies over here on the corner of the shopping center by the Korean barbecue.
Wow.
Dirt Bike X-Ray received. Have a few units go to the Korean barbecue. Have a few units go over to the Korean.
Wow, this is like, oh.
Large crowd at Bradford and Common.
Frankfurt and Common. They have a crowd over there also.
Bradford.
I apologize for Bradford.
Charlie 9, just be advised radio. I have 12 separate officers that are going to go out and try to clear out Boston Avenue both north and south. So Boston should be covered. Let's work on the next project. What do we got?
All right, northbound and southbound Common is covered. Where else do you need units? Highway 37.
Highway 37.
See about 3 vehicles for when we clear these alleyways to have a stationary officer to prevent people from going back down as we move from alley to alley.
Okay.
Be on St. Vincent Street and Leonard right now.
St. Vincent and Leonard, I got it.
Just have the units come up St. Vincent and then hold the alleyway.
Wow, look at that.
All
Holy
right.
crap.
Is that on Common? Or?
Oh, 40 officers. Okay, thank you, B.
Going to be 1 block south of Kaufman Street. Be on the south end of 7200 Rupert and 7200 St. Leonard.
Okay, 7200 Leonard, 7200
Fox
Rupert.
29,
Then they
thank
had
you.
7200 Hanford. Is that covered also?
Charlie 8 to Dark X-ray.
Oh, here we go. Thank you.
Only about 100
There we
feet.
go.
Nobody's running. There's firefighters walking nearby. So there must not be any danger.
Charlie 8 to Dark Command.
Crashing. It just came out. There's some video now. Take a look. The moment it crashed. No audio, but there is. Wow. Yo, that thing, I mean, lit up the sky. Holy crap.
When you think of some of the planes that fly out of the Northeast Philly airport,
There it is.
there are some smaller Cessnas, there are some private jets as well. No jumbo jets, as you know, out of that airport. But just look at the fireball that ensued. You can see why the debris field is what it is in Northeast Philly at the Roosevelt Mall. This happening less than an hour ago, right as people are coming home from work. They're shopping right there. It's a Friday evening. They may be going to dinner at this point. There's no word on any injuries, but it does not sound good. At the moment, Steve Keeley was telling us that there are several fires that are being fueled by underground gas lines, perhaps. The debris, again, from a
plane hit
plane,
hard.
and then from
Straight
homes and
down.
cars that were in the area.
It was a nosedive,
Several
yeah.
fires burning, and Steve having a hard time breathing at points there. But again, just watching this video, that looks like it was a mid-air collision. I don't want to speculate, but
Mid-air collision?
some kind of breakup of a plane at that point. You just don't see planes come down like that in Northeast. And a lot of people texting me right now saying, what is going on? And they grew up in this area. They you know, their hearts
Could
go
it be
out to
possible
whoever's
mid-air
involved.
collision?
And we're getting multiple calls from people, though, who heard the explosion, who saw it, they felt the ground shake, and and as you can see here, no surprise, that fireball is enough to wake anybody up within a mile or two radius from there. Again, this is from a viewer about a half mile, I'm assuming, and just seeing that fireball right there, it's incredible. We're doing our best to get Steve back. We're doing our best to get some aviation experts on and try to get a ground picture for you. We're doing the best we can to try to bring you the very latest. It is chaos in North Philly, so I'm doing my best to try to navigate you through this what appears to be just a disaster.
I did see the new video, Karen. Thank you.
And I don't know if you can you hear? I think we had to mute some of the audio from this when that loud bang happens. I think. The person in the house might have cursed a little bit, but you can see what happens right afterwards. And as Steve Keeley reported earlier, gas lines, houses on fire, firefighters there to put car fires out, parking lot,
too.
A large debris field that stretches city blocks.
How am I going to fly?
Again,
how am I ever going to fly again?
This happened, and so we're just trying to. Okay, now we are live. We are officially live.
Okay,
our first live look at the ground from the scene, and this just gives you a glimpse at the response.
I got to fly too.
Every firefighter in the area you can believe is suited up and there.
Man.
I believe this
I don't know
looks
how
like
I'm
it is the
gonna fly
area of, and there is going to be a media
Alfrey
staging
donated
area, I believe,
$9.99 through Super
There is
Chat.
still smoke.
One of your videos showed
smoldering
piece of
there
plane,
from right
letters
to left.
say UCI white piece of
Philadelphia
metal
fire
with
on the
red
scene.
letters.
Cops are there as well, and this is going to take quite some time to figure out. First of all, whether everyone, anybody in this area needs help. There might be people inside homes that they don't even know about who need medical attention. So they're probably going to have to go door to door as soon as they can get this fire out. And not only that, but what we've learned in D.C. is these debris fields, they are, to preserve them is of utmost importance. But right now, the priority is saving lives, keeping everybody safe, whether there's another threat of another fire from an underground gas line, that is something they're going to have to look into as well. Based on the body language here, it looks like some of these firefighters and police officers here are trying to get the area cordoned
Crazy,
off.
Crazy, man. 2025.
As well. This is probably
Thank you, JLB, for the 5 memberships.
as safe as we can be in this area of Northeast Philly, right outside Roosevelt Mall. You can see this is a kind of a strip mall. There's that Dunkin' there.
Jeez, man.
Okay, yeah, so police have told us that's it. This is as close as we can get, which is fine. Obviously, we probably can't even get Skyfox up over this scene as well, just due to safety. And then we're talking about a possible plane crash. But again, about an hour ago, we've got reports of a small plane. This was described as a small plane crashing in the area of Roosevelt Mall, Northeast Philly, at Bustleton and Cotman. And after that, then we ended up getting this doorbell camera that showed the fireball. Fires were kind of burning in just various locations. Cars were on fire. People felt the shaking like a little earthquake in this area.
This is insane, man.
The rest is, you see it. The response, the ambulance is here.
The random people on scene.
Chaos.
Oh,
Steve
okay,
Keeley,
I got you.
was on the ground.
the
He
app.
says he smelled jet fuel when he got to the scene. He saw what he then later learned were parts of the plane, or a plane. So he backed away, got out of there, and backed up. He wound up at a restaurant there as he was trying to sort through everything. It's just chaos at this moment. That's the only way I can describe it, as we try to learn what that was that fell out of the sky. It very may well could have been a plane. It could have been something else. But that doorbell camera makes it look like, an asteroid, a missile, who knows, a piece of a plane, or, this is a far away
I think
plane.
you got it. I think you might have got it. So, thank you for the super chat. AI said that the plane said, or a piece of the thing said XAUCI. And I looked it up on FlightAware, and there is a plane that took off 6:06 p.m. Eastern and landing 6:53 p.m. Central. I don't know if this is the one or not. Opelika to Northeast Philadelphia, then Northeast Philadelphia to Springfield. I don't know if this is the same flight or not. Oh, I don't know. Or could it? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Because the reporter had said, what if there was like a midair collision? He mentioned midair. I don't know where he got that from, but I guess the way the plane crashed.
Cottman Avenue down there. And, you know, Jason, Steve was talking about this a little bit earlier, kind of give that location of the mall as a locator. So just imagine a couple mile radius outside of that.
The people that missed the crash, let me just do it, put it here again for you on screen. I have no notification, so if you could help me out with the like button, please. But this is it right here on your left side. Look how... Yo, the way that thing came down, like it was like a dive, like straight down, like. What happened?
The most dense area, really, if you think about Northeast Philly, I mean, really.
Alfrey donated $9.99 through Super Chat.
What's Al?
Not the news video, one of the videos from the random people on scene.
Jets, there are private type jets
Katrina, how you doing?
Fly out of this airport,
the small plane.
Cessnas as well. There are
that created a huge
sending in pictures
fire.
of
There's
what
gas
they
lines
believe
open,
is,
I guess.
a number from a plane that we'll wait to record.
Interesting.
But,
so the information you gave me. So BNO News says, based on the video from the wreckage, we can confirm that this is a Learjet 55, a jet rescue air ambulance.
Do you know if it was a commercial flight?
And this is what this one says here too. This says here Learjet 55 twin jet, X-A-U-C-I. So I'm going to look more into that aircraft.
Gas line fueling that fire. That is new video from our Steve Keeley. So this is what Steve was seeing. He was describing what appeared to be a gas line that was causing flames to twirl in like a top, he said. But you see the red tape too. That is obviously do not cross. Investigators will be there for days and days, I would imagine, to try to figure out what happened. And there are several little fires like that burning across the area of this strip mall. You see the Ross and some of the signs of this outdoor mall in this area. On the right, you see a lot of firefighters waiting on orders on what to do and where to go. They may have to go door to door, car to car, store to store, checking on everyone involved. And I'm sure many of the hospitals are preparing their emergency rooms and triage units to try to.
Alfrey donated $9.99 through Super Chat. Sorry, don't recall what video it was, but one of the ones with people walking in the street recording on their phone.
About victims from the plane. So here's what we got from high-ranking police sources here on the scene, that there were 6 people on a plane that had just taken off from Northeast Philadelphia Airport. 2 pilots, 2 doctors, a patient, and a family member is what they're telling me. And I said, is that confirmed? They said, yes. So that's the word Philly police got early on here at the scene. And again, I just want to caution, everything's preliminary.
Can you find a police scanner for this area?
But that is what they're being told from folks, I guess, working at the airport, because they're in communication with them, obviously. I was sent a picture of the plane. We'll hold that for now until that's officially confirmed. But it was a larger than usual. I'm with Fox. All right, so I'm sorry. That's police just looking out for my own good. And the smoke is billowing again. So, Jason, I sent in video of the flames I was telling you about the gas line. You got it, brother. Thank you. You got it. Thanks. So they're moving even themselves back just for everybody's safety. So we're moving away from the gas line and the sound of new sirens and more trucks showing up because there's so much on fire here.
Just had 6 people.
And the smoke is still billowing, Jason. So that's what we got here. So a plane, a jet.
Thanks, Mel.
And that's why, and that confirmed the jet fuel smell that we were talking about when we first spoke live on the air. And that would tell you why there's so much jet fuel, because they had just taken off probably with a load of fuel. No word on where it was headed to, but it was just taking off from Northeast Philadelphia Airport. And the picture of the plane that a source provided had like at least 6 windows on the side. So this was not a very small one, but what we commonly call as Learjets, executive jets that would take off. So I'm walking further down the Roosevelt Mall out of the smoke line. Well, I'm the opposite way. They said the Boulevard, and thank you. They said that way? Because they just chased me this way. But go over that way. All right, thank you. Yes.
Steve obviously is having to do some navigating here with police who are asking him to move for his own safety. So he's trying to do that and try to get to a safe place while giving us a little play-by-play of what he's seeing. On the left is video Steve took about 5 to 10 minutes ago of a twirling fire being fueled by an underground gas line in the parking lot of a Roosevelt Mall. And on the right is a live picture on a rainy night here in Northeast Philly of the response from firefighters, hundreds if not more, dozens there, trying to really just get a handle on what has happened with this, what appears to be what Steve described as a Learjet, a private type jet with twin engines, about 6 windows that may have crashed. And that happened about an hour and 15 minutes ago. This obviously kind of a chaotic scene here as police and firefighters have yet to give us an update on what's going on. We're doing our best to try to bring you what we know and what we've seen.
Right, and police a top police source telling Steve Keeley that this was a plane that was carrying 2 pilots, 2 doctors, a patient and a family member. So this sounds like it was some kind of medical transport situation. 6 people on that plane, Steve describing it as larger than usual. It was not a small plane, obviously involved in some kind of medical transport, according to top Philadelphia law enforcement officials. And just to see the fire, cars on fire, and this chaotic scene, Steve obviously moving about, trying to bring us the latest details while also trying to stay safe himself, talking about just how hard it is to breathe and the smoke in the air. And then we have all these EMT and EMS workers on the scene also trying to make the situation as safe as it can be for people there on the scene. Yeah, and that's the first I'm hearing about a medical flight perhaps, and then you start to wonder what kind of equipment, what kind of items are on this plane that may have caused this crash to be even worse. As far as the explosion goes, I mean, it just it was almost in a nosedive. Can we show the doorbell camera again? It's just incredible to see the angle in which this plane, as it's described, was coming down from the doorbell camera from about half mile away. There it is on the left of your screen. And you'll see the fireball, and it's a lot of people are saying, are we sure that's a plane? But it appears to be. And again, Northeast Philly Airport's less than 2 miles away. And people saying, Jason, that they heard an explosion, they heard this happen, and then they looked up into the sky. People, reaching out to us on the phone, via email. There you see it again, just crashing down, coming out of a.
That's crazy, man.
And that happened about an hour and 15 minutes ago.
Seeing that this
crashed, and that happened about an hour and 15 minutes ago. This obviously kind of a chaotic scene here as police and firefighters have yet to give us an update on what's going on. We're doing our best to try to bring you what we know and what we've seen. Right, and police a top police source telling Steve Keeley that this was a plane that.
Yeah. That's so sad too. Like, I don't know what's going on, dude. So medical
police a top police source telling Steve Keeley that this was a plane that was carrying 2 pilots, 2 doctors, a patient and a family member. So this sounds like it was some kind of medical transport situation. 6 people on that plane, Steve describing it as larger than usual. It was not a small plane.
Okay.
From almost parallel to the boulevard, up kind of around Red Lion Road. And there's the first thing I can tell you about Northeast Philly Airport is that, it's surrounded by, the urban part of Philadelphia. So it's not like Millville where you take off and the whole world's a kind of an off-field landing strip. So, Northeast Philly is, I don't want to say dicey, but if you're a single-engine airplane and you lose your engine in Northeast Philly, you're descending. And the question is, where are you going to descend?
Right, and that makes it so much more dangerous because of the location of this airport and what can happen, which is what we're looking at right now.
Right. It is what we're looking at right now. It's really hard to tell what's going on. I've seen some of those Ring cameras. I saw one on your Instagram account, and so that air, whatever it was moving at a high rate of speed.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you make of the angle, the what appears to be a nosedive or what have you? What can cause a plane to fall out of the sky like that?
Okay, well, a number of things. And so I don't have any problem with speculating, but before I do that, the first thing you want to look at is the weather. And so right now, right before I came on with you guys, I looked at the weather at Northeast Philadelphia. It's what they call 700 overcast, which means it's that when you take off, once you get up 700 feet above the ground, you are in the clouds. The other thing that caught my attention is that in aviation, we use centigrade, and it's 10 degrees centigrade. And the reason we use centigrade, not one of the reasons, is that because as you go up, for every 1,000 feet that you go up, you lose 2 degrees of centigrade, and 0 centigrade is freezing. So now that tells me that the clouds start at 700 feet on the way up, and the ice starts to form at 5,000 feet, right? 10 degrees to 5,000 feet. And so back to the answer to your question, I have no idea what happened here. But one of the things that can cause an airplane to have a problem like that is icing, and particularly this type of weather where you have rain that's falling, and depending on what the atmospheric conditions are above, a lot of times that rain will fall,
I can show the video again.
The water itself will get below freezing, and then it's just looking for something. And when it hits an airplane wing, the water droplets splatter, and they immediately freeze. It's called freezing rain, and it is an absolute nightmare for anything other than a jet. I mean, it just the weather. So to answer your question, the first thing that I'd be looking at with this is the weather, because that's the kind of accident that would be consistent with either airframe icing. It's just not an engine failure. People don't understand this. When engines fail, the airplane, airplanes will keep going. I mean, they just need to move through the air to create lift. I mean, they'll definitely go. They won't go indefinitely. At some point, they'll come back down to Earth, but not like that.
Right. That was like a nosedive to the ground.
Yeah.
It was.
And Fred, witnesses are reporting just an immense smell of gas, of fuel. And with this possibly being a medical flight, what kind of equipment does a medical flight carry? Oxygen tanks, things that could explode? That's kind of my question.
I didn't think about that either.
That's a great question, and it depends. So the question, that raises two questions if it's a medical flight. First of all, was this a rotary wing aircraft, like i.e. a helicopter, or was it a fixed wing aircraft? They do carry oxygen. I'd be curious what kind of smell that the bystanders are smelling. The more sophisticated stuff burns jet fuel. So the helicopters, the sophisticated helicopters, the medevac helicopters that you see, they burn jet fuel. The bigger airplanes, the medevac airplanes. I mean, I knew people who used to fly medevac on Learjets, which is a private jet that they can use for medevac. So, and those are the kind of airplanes that fly in and out of Northeast Philly. Northeast Philly has a lot of medevac flights go in and out of there because it's easier for a lot of different reasons, not the least of which is that you're not, getting in and out of Philly International is a little bit more difficult on the general aviation side. Not impossible, but a lot more difficult. Whereas Northeast Philly, you gas and go.
So stay with us, Fred, as we try to recap what exactly is going on. And we're showing you some new video, but about an hour and a half ago, reports of a small plane crashing in Northeast Philly, right around the Roosevelt Mall area, several fires burning. And Dawn, you had mentioned the amount of people on that plane.
Right. We're told from top police officials, our Steve Keeley telling us that there were 6 people on the plane, 2 doctors, 2 pilots, a patient, and a family member. So that is the presumption that it was some kind of medical transport. Governor Josh Shapiro.
Let me just show you this, because this just popped up, guys. So this is the plane crash in Philadelphia. It appears to have been a jet rescue air ambulance aircraft. This is crazy. So look at this. This is the piece of the aircraft right here. How wild is that? Look at that.
Misericórdia. E era avião relacionado com alguma coisa de emergência. Caramba, mano.
Let me just make sure it's okay to view, because I don't know if there's going to be any kind of body parts or anything like that. No. This thing is in pieces, man. This thing, I'll find the video. Let me get the video for the people that missed it.
Tried
the crash
to get a handle on this very chaotic scene. But again, as Steve first reported, it seems like this was a medical transport flight with patients and doctors and pilots on board crashing into the streets of Philadelphia.
And we're looking into where that plane was headed. And obviously, it's going to be a while before we find out who was on that plane. But Fred, TC.
So let me get it for you guys. For those that missed it, let me just put it on full screen so you can see. This is the plane crash. I mean, it's to your left. Watch to your left, dude. I mean, incredible. The way this plane came down, you could kind of see the little light. I mean, it's just zooming straight, pointing down straight to the ground. What could have happened? And they said this plane had just taken off. And some reporter had said he had speculated mid-air collision, but I don't know. I haven't seen anything to say that.
It's interesting how fluid this kind of stuff is. So we now know that the aircraft was departing Northeast Philly. So it means that tells me it would have been full of fuel. And that's why you're seeing an accident on the ground. You're seeing witnesses on the ground saying that the airplane was full of fuel. Could it be a Lear that would be consistent with the kind of airplane that comes in and out of there? It could have been a King Air, which is a twin-engine turboprop. It could have been any one of a dozen airplanes. I mean, I could rattle off dozens of airplanes that it could be. To answer your question, you cannot take off with ice on the wings. Now, as I said earlier, the ground temperature is 10 degrees centigrade, which is, what's that, like roughly close to the 50s. So being iced up on the ground before it took off, that's not going to be an issue. So the question is whether or not that aircraft, how long has it been since it took off? Did it climb into icing conditions? Depending on the type of aircraft it is, the first thing you do when you get into ice, if it is, let's say it is a light jet, you get into ice with that thing, you just pull the nose up, you just keep going. Because sooner or later, you get up where the air is so cold that the water's not going to form on the wings. Now, if it's a Navajo, which is a twin-engine, unpressurized airplane that's used for medical transport, that's a piston-powered airplane, that airplane gets into ice, that's a whole different kind of kettle of fish. So, I mean, there's a million instruments gets into rough weather, they panic or they over-control, and they literally can overstress the aircraft. And then that's the kind of, again, I have no idea if that's what happened here, but I'm telling you all the different things it could be. So you can get a pilot get spatially disoriented, but if it was a two-pilot crew, that's less likely, and then actually do something that would either overstress the tail or overstress one of the wings. You see this a lot in these high-performance light single turboprops and light single aircraft that they build, but usually that's an accident that happens to people that are at 21,000 feet and they get too close to a thunderstorm and they pull the wings off the airplane. So,
what about visibility, Fred? Like, would that have been an issue as well?
Well, the answer is to a professionally trained crew in a sophisticated piece of equipment, no. All right, so that gets back to what I was saying earlier, that 700 feet, once you go at 700 feet overcast, once you go through 700 feet in the climb, that's it. I mean, I've been in weather so bad that I can't see the tips of the wings of my airplane like that. And you have no visibility. And so you fly the airplane solely by reference to the instruments that are on the airplane. They could have had an instrument failure that didn't allow the pilots to keep the airplane upright in zero visibility conditions. So it could have been that. I mean, a lot of these airplanes today, like my airplane, all that stuff's kind of computer driven. In the old days, you literally had vacuum pumps that spun gyros that you used to keep the airplane upright in the clouds. So, could there have been an instrumentation failure that ended up being overstressing the airplane? Who knows? Could there have been icing that resulted in a stall in an effort to try and get out of that, overstress the airplane? I mean, it could be a million different things. I mean, I'd love to know. I think the biggest piece of the puzzle that I'd like to get my hands on right now is what type of airplane, and we'll go from there. Yep.
Yeah.
We're
talking to Fred Tisi, a former Navy pilot, an aviation attorney, and many other things. Obviously, an expert in aviation. But there's two stories going on here. There's the plane crash that caused what happened in the sky, and then there's the search and rescue efforts for anybody on the ground in Northeast Philly.
Wow. Okay, so the FAA put a statement out. They confirmed that the plane, which crashed in Philadelphia, is a Learjet 55. It says 2 people were on board. So that contradicts what the local media is saying. That's weird. A Learjet 55 crashed around 6:30 p.m. local time, Friday, January 31st, after departing from the Northeast Philadelphia airport. There were 2 people on board. So the FAA is saying 2 people. News media is saying 6 people. What is it? The plane was en route to Springfield Branson National Airport in Missouri. The FAA and NTSB will investigate. The NTSB will be the lead. Will lead the investigation. Okay.
And pieces of the plane scattered
Everywhere.
all over. They're on fire. Homes are on fire. Cars are on fire.
Thank you, Holly Beth.
I mean, it looks like a war zone out there.
It does.
It's very chaotic. It's frightening. We don't know the extent of any injuries on the ground right now. We're still trying to get that information. And as we had reported, we believe there were 6 people on that plane when it just took a nosedive out of the sky for reasons.
Thank you. There's a new dash cam video. Let's take it up. Let's take a look at it because I'm pulling up all the breaking news as it comes, right? So I was tagged on this. There's dash cam video of this plane crash. That is crazy. Look at that. Holy crap. Doesn't even look real. It's like almost like a bomb went off. Holy, look at that. That is crazy. What? I mean, the things that are happening now, it's unreal. Let me just take one more screenshot of this. I mean, imagine you're driving and you see this crap. Wow. Incredible.
Virtually just fell out of the sky.
All right, so a couple things are coming. So it's funny. So now, you guys can't report on this, but I'm telling you some of the things that I'm saying, which gets back to kind of the speculation that I was saying earlier. There was a Lear 55 that operates as MTS, Medical Transport Services, that was scheduled to depart Northeast Philly, I think for Springfield. I want to say Springfield, Illinois. So if you go to FlightAware.com, you can see scheduled departures from Northeast Philly. And that aircraft, a Lear 55, was scheduled to depart.
Right.
And so that airplane would have a bunch of jet fuel on it. Some of the, a lot of the aviation rumors are starting to swirl around about an instrumentation loss, which is something we had talked about earlier. Who knows if that is what it was? But with a Lear 55, if that's what the airplane is, I mean, a Lear 55 is a very sophisticated airplane. A Lear 55 and a highly trained crew, something kind of went catastrophically wrong.
And so you're saying, based on the FlightAware data that you've looked up, that Lear 55 was taking off Northeast Philly Airport when?
It was scheduled at 6:06 p.m.
And that's
here for a second.
Right, and that's shortly thereafter
right about
is
the time
when this all happened. And Fred, you also talked about, so it would also be completely fueled up, making this crash with fuel everywhere, which people are reporting smelling jet engine fuel. We've seen all these fires.
All right, so let's look and see here. So that airplane may have made. So we have scheduled departures out of Philly. Looking at FlightAware, right? So then there was another one, Canadair regional jet, going to South Bend, Indiana. That airplane looks like it got where it was going. One of these Lears looks like it's still up going where it's supposed to. So it's really hard to tell, kind of, what's going on. I mean, it's some people are saying it was a Lear. Some people are saying it was a Canadair regional jet. So who knows?
Okay. Fred Tisi, thank you for joining us, giving us your expertise, and I appreciate what you very much helped us try to understand what happened here. So thanks for your time. We're going to get back to Steve Keeley on the ground. It's been a while. since we've talked to Steve, probably at least 20 minutes or so, as he has tried to get to first of all, get to a safe place, and then, his reporter instincts kicking in, and he's going to need to sort of tell us what he's seeing, and he'll be joining us in just a moment.
And this all happening shortly after 6 o'clock tonight at Bustleton and Cottman, the Roosevelt Mall. A small plane crashing into northeast Philadelphia. People seeing a plane taking a nosedive in the sky, and then you see on the left-hand screen there just a huge ball of fire. Emergency crews, dozens and dozens, all available. Fire, police, EMS crews responding to the scene, which has been very chaotic. As we've talked to our Steve Keeley, he's having trouble breathing. He's trying to report the story. Governor Josh Shapiro also making a statement on X saying that he's going to make all available resources available to the city of Philadelphia, offering the mayor, the fire department, the police department, and the Office of Emergency Management any possible help that they could need in handling this huge crisis in Philadelphia.
Really? Albert?
That we've been dealing
with
for about an hour and a half or so.
Yeah, the AP reporting that, as we just heard from Fred, saying that this flight took off at 6:06, disappeared from radar about 30 seconds after climbing to an altitude of 1,600 feet. And at least that's what this particular flight did. It's it's only 3 miles from the airport. So however high a plane like that can get in just 3 miles and just a few minutes after takeoff is what we're talking about here. And at some point, this plane, which had been reported to be a Lear 55 medical jet with 6 people on board.
There's some new videos. So I'm going to be bringing you guys whatever comes out, the breaking video clips and everything. I'll be muting it for a second just to show you. This is new. I haven't seen this yet. Thank you. Who tagged me? Mandy. Thank you, Mandy. Ring doorbell camera of the crash.
Yeah, man. She's still hanging.
Oh. Holy shit.
Yeah, man. She's still hanging.
It almost looks like, was it already on fire as it was coming in? I don't know. That thing came in so hard and fast. That's wild, dude. That's so crazy.
So I said how it was a medical jet with 2 doctors, 2 pilots, a patient, and a family member, a commander had told me, and that was confirmed by another officer. This would be on a medical plane, an air tank, an oxygen tank that is right on the corner where the McDonald's is, across all 12 lanes of Cottman Avenue, and that's how big the debris field is. I just talked to Sergeant Eric Kripp. I said, any estimated time of arrival on the police news conference? He says, we might have to keep moving it back because we keep finding stuff from the plane. So I'm standing here with this air tank now that hasn't been roped off yet. And I don't know if it was kicked down here or it's down. It's across all 12 lanes of the boulevard. It may have been hit by vehicles and ended up here. But this, they keep moving the scene back. They have closed the boulevard. It was not closed right after this when I was on scene. But this air tank is here, and I'll get a picture in so you can see it. And it's just shocking how much they keep finding. Now, it's dark out. It's been raining, and there's been smoke billowing all the time. I just walked 2 miles to get around everything safely to get to where they're going to have the media news conference, which is at a gas station across the 12 lanes of Boulevard. But they keep finding things, so they may move the media back before they start talking. So I'm going to head back over there. I'll get you a picture where this air tank is. It looks like Philly police are coming over just to secure that now. But what an awful scene this is. And still, I have not gotten any information on potential victims on the ground. This was a crowded mall. It was a packed Cottman Avenue waiting for the traffic light at the boulevard. And I know firsthand because I was in it moments before and moments after on both sides. So there's your update. I'm going to go back over the scene. I'll get right back to you. And we expect to hear from, I know Police Commissioner Kevin Bethel just arrived. We'll hear from police. and we'll learn what they know at this early juncture still. As you hear sirens, fire department, ambulances leaving, and it's also a gruesome scene. I was warned at one point. Everybody was moving me back to be for our safety and other things. It's just awful scene, and the police and the fire department doesn't even know the extent of everything that happened just yet, because Cottman Avenue is one of the busiest streets in Philadelphia, along with Roosevelt Boulevard, at the busiest time of day, evening rush hour on a Friday.
All right, Steve Keeley, get to safety, and as soon as you have more information, we will check back in with you. You are doing an awesome job out there.
And I was going to ask Steve about injuries. He obviously has no information on that, but I mean, objective one for first responders is to find anybody on the ground who needs medical attention. And I don't know if you can hear me, Steve, but have you seen any patients being loaded onto gurneys, people being scooped up by ambulance or police officers in need of medical attention, anything like that? Okay, I think he took off. It's very fluid for him.
Right.
We're trying to get him back on the phone. When we do that, we can. But as you mentioned earlier, Dawn, Governor Josh Shapiro is the one who really helped shed some light on this plane, the occupants, the 6 people on board a medical flight. The governor also saying that the plane crashed about 30 seconds after it took off, leading to this scene that we see here. Right near Roosevelt Mall, in the parking lot, into stores, into homes, fire crews trying to put out those fires. And in these 2 live shots, the one on the right is live. I believe the one on the left is not. But there may very well still be fires burning as crews try to shut off gas lines that are underground that were disturbed by this plane that fell from the sky.
Right. This, if you're just joining us right now, this all happened shortly after 6 o'clock tonight. We're hearing that a Lear 55 with 6 people on board, 2 patients, or I should say 2 doctors, 2 pilots, a patient, and a family member on this plane that just took a nosedive into the street. We're told that Roosevelt Boulevard from Steve Keeley is currently closed. He's hearing from top police officials. He's been in the thick of this all night long. We're hearing that it is a gruesome scene. He's been warned. It's just awful. We don't know the extent of any injuries on the ground just yet. He is waiting to hear more from police. They're setting up a command center. So we don't know the extent of any potential victims on the ground. But, you know, as you look at this video, you can see the massive response. The video on the left showing the fire burning after this plane crashed into the ground. And I thought it was interesting, as Steve pointed out, Jason, that where he was at this gas station across 12 lanes of Cottman Avenue, that they found an air tank, an oxygen tank with jet rescue on it, presumably medical equipment that was on that plane that somehow ended up, whether it was hit by a car or that's, you know, flying through the sky, landed in this gas station parking lot.
Yeah, and I think what is just blowing people away is just the idea of the angle that this plane came down. I mean, almost straight from the sky. And there are several other videos on social media as well that we will share with you when we can, but that just show different angles of just how this plane fell from the sky 30 seconds after takeoff, reportedly by the governor. And then the fireball so bright that even this camera shot on the left from the Ring doorbell and many others, just you lose sight of everything. That's how quickly and how bright it happened. The debris field, they haven't even been able to cordon it all off yet because Steve is walking around in what may be evidence. And you think about what the job the NTSB is going to have here, and they're already spread thin enough in the Potomac from a mid-air crash 2 days ago. And now they're going to have to respond to this scene in a very, very busy section of Philadelphia, maybe the busiest outside Center City and some other areas, but Northeast Philly.
So 2 doctors on board, patient, pilots.
And now you're talking about tanks from a plane that just crashed. But again, objective one, priority one, how is everybody doing on the ground?
Right.
Some of the folks in their row homes, in their cars, in restaurants, in some of those
Right, this was rush
businesses.
hour. People were, it's a Friday night, it's rush hour. People were headed home from work. They might have been headed out for the evening, and this happened. And Fred Teesey was talking about could be potentially icing on the plane or whatever. So let's head over to Drew Anderson. Drew, you can talk a little bit about the weather conditions when this happened and potentially what the pilots were up against.
So here's what I'm doing. I've been piecing together all the data that's coming into our newsroom. So you guys were mentioning how the plane potentially crashed about 30 seconds off of takeoff. So I went to FlightAware and was looking up some of the information that Learjet we were talking about. And the estimates are it only got about a half a mile off the ground. So from that information, we wanted to see, okay, is it icy at that level up in the sky? Because it's pretty mild when you step outside right now. And ice, as it collects on wings, can change pretty much the way a plane is designed to fly, such that it can't maintain its altitude and it comes down because it's just can't handle that extra weight on the wings. From what I see from the weather data, as I was looking in the upper atmosphere, it is not icy right now, a half a mile off the ground. You have to go about a mile or more off the ground before you're going to get temperatures below freezing. So from what I can see from the information coming in terms of the max height that the plane got versus what temperatures would be at that level, it does not look like ice is a factor that would have played a role in any whatsoever. But again, we're still waiting to get more information in to confirm those things. But from what I see, it's mild air where the plane made it and temperatures were above freezing. And when I'm looking right now on the live picture of our Philadelphia Skycam city line and just kind of look at the city sky, the clouds are really low. So the plane for sure would have been in visibility that would not have been existent. They would just been in clouds, not able to see. So that's something to keep in mind. But from what you guys were saying, I could just say ice would not have played a factor from the weather data that I'm seeing coming in at the Fox 29 Weather Authority Weather Center.
Okay, Drew, thanks. We just got some breaking details. We have a statement from the FAA.
FAA saying
I'll
two
just read it to you in its entirety. A Learjet 55 crash. So the governor earlier had said 6 people were on board. The FAA now saying 2 people were on board. But now, Dawn, we know that this plane that took off from Northeast Philly Airport was headed to Missouri, Springfield Branson National Airport. So that's what we can tell you from the FAA.
So I don't know. No doctors on board. I mean, that's not, if it's only 2 people, or the doctors dropped off and then they took off to the next place. This is a new video I was just tagged in. Check this out.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! What the hell?
Oh.
What the hell? What the hell? Oh my God! Oh my God!
Wow.
La ilaha illallah. That's a plane, bro! That's a plane! I caught that on camera! Yo! Yo! Allahu Akbar! Yo! 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 Oh my God! La ilaha illallah! La ilaha illallah! La ilaha illallah!
What was it going
La
towards
ilaha
it?
illallah! La ilaha illallah! La ilaha illallah! La ilaha illallah! Oh my God! What the hell? Yo! Oh my God! Allahu Akbar!
That's crazy. Let's just watch that. That plane was just, he literally caught the moment right before it hit the ground.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! What the hell? What the hell?
That's crazy, man. Yo, what times that we're in.
Keeley was earlier when he was reporting near those fires. Right. So that is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and I'm just estimating if that's a quarter mile away, you got to think the debris field is even larger than that, maybe a half a mile at least. But one police commander telling Steve there's pieces everywhere. And when you talk about a plane that falls out of the sky, it's not a surprise at just how widespread the debris field is there. And now we turn our attention to the ground and the folks there and the innocent people on the ground driving and shopping and eating. And it's just way too soon to tell. And we'll certainly be checking in with hospitals, checking in with the community there to try to figure out if everybody's okay on the ground.
Right. And Philadelphia Council member Mike Driscoll issuing a release on the impact of the crash in Northeast Philadelphia. He is the chair of the Transportation and Utilities Committee, and he says that his heart is so heavy. This is a quote: "As we continue to learn more about this tragic plane crash in Northeast Philly, we are in direct communication with our emergency."
They said this guy was in a drive-thru about to trying to order fast food. And this is the view from his point of view.
Oh shit, a plane just fucking crashed. Oh shit. Oh shit.
Wow.
Plane just fucking crashed. Oh shit.
Wow.
And their prayers are with everyone right now. So just a really horrific scene, a horrific situation.
God. Apparently there's a video of somebody on fire too, walking. I can't show that here. What I will do is I'll retweet it for those that want to see it. And I'll post it on Discord if you want to see it. Just give me a second.
55 picture when you can, just to show the folks what it looks like. It's got about 4 windows, twin engine.
I wonder if that's it looks like a bystander, I guess, on
Missouri.
fire.
So it had just been filled up with fuel. 2 people on board, according to the FAA. It was before 6:30 when it crashed. 30 seconds after takeoff, something terrible happened in the sky, and we won't even begin to try to figure out what happened there. It's just when you see the angle and the ferocious angle in which this plane crashed, it's no surprise that the debris field could be as wide-ranging as a half a mile. But it's in the computer. I think Drew pulled it up for us. But it can seat probably at least 10 people, if not more. And a lot of times these flights are used for medical purposes. Not sure if we don't have confirmation this was a medical flight, not according to the FAA.
Right, but we do know that Jet Rescue, which was written on that air tank that Steve showed us a picture of, is an air ambulance company. Yeah. So we do know, there's that, oxygen tank on a Philadelphia street in the area in this debris field. So
and Jet Rescue describes itself as an air ambulance fleet, and they have 10 medical jets and 1 helicopter, according to their website. And so they have 1 Learjet 60, and they have 2 Learjet 55s. And that's what this is here, according to the FAA. So we're learning, as you are here, about what kind of plane crashed. And I just wish I could tell you about the folks on the ground. There was a home on fire. There was an issue with underground gas lines and fires burning. Cars were on fire. And so with the chaos going on, all we can say is we're on it. And as soon as we...
Okay, thank you. We have some live feed on the ground. It doesn't look, I can't tell if much is going on. Let's take a look. Let's see if this works.
The devil gonna be waiting with a hot poker to shove up his nasty, dirty, crooked looking. He looked like the Penguin from fucking Gotham. Okay, I will not respect a man that looks like an animal. You can't tell me what to fucking do. You look like the goddamn Penguin from motherfucking Gotham, bitch. You cannot tell me what the fuck to do. Clock that T.
Oh God, what did I get myself into?
Say you're being generous. Air traffic is definitely getting scary out here. Y'all be safe. If you can drive there, I know driving is a fucking hassle, but if you could drive there, baby, just fucking drive. Because at this point, I'm getting real scared of all of this shit. I don't trust none of this shit no more. Now, why would he bring his big round ass in front of me like this?
Oh, shit.
People trying to get out of here. It's a lot going on up here. Kamala Harris, clock that T, a black queen. She warned us about this shit. And y'all didn't want to fucking listen because y'all wanted motherfucking the stupid ass, what the fuck was that shit? What the money he gave them called? What was that called? Y'all wanted them fucking stimulus check, and not only did that nigga smack y'all in the face with spit in his hand, he's shitting in y'all houses and leaving the shit in the toilet. That's damn near what he did. He fucking played with y'all. Y'all did this all over some fucking stimulus checks. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. I am disgusted and disappointed in America beyond fucking words. And as a black girl who has a very good education, my parents raised me to know better and to respect everyone, no matter where the fuck they come from. So I don't give a damn. Damn, she thick as hell. God damn. Lord damn, little mama, this googly moogly. That thing is juicy. Don't worry, y'all. My girlfriend is gay. Calm down. We are together. We've been together for a year. Everybody calm the fuck down.
All right. Jessica, thank you for the 10. Appreciate that. And Vegas, thank you for Deborah and Vegas. Thank you for sending that. I was I was hoping to get like a visual on site on the ground, but I guess I caught her at a moment where she's like snapping. So but I'm going to keep it open just in case.
Folks, if you're just tuning in for a basketball game on Fox, Indiana-Purdue here that's supposed to start right now, we're staying with this breaking news story in light of this disaster in Northeast Philadelphia. We are staying here with this local urgent news story here. And so I just wanted to pass that along to you. If you're just joining us to watch that basketball game, we are going to stay with this for the time being. And if you want to see that basketball game, I guess you'll have to check your local listings. It might be on another network. We'll let you know. But we're going to stay with this, Sean.
Oh, they tagged me.
Obviously, people have to understand this is something.
So apparently there's new audio. Okay, new audio. Philly crime update, new audio from PNE Air Traffic Control trying to reach the aircraft. Listen as ATC learns that the aircraft is lost. All right, let's check it out.
Medevac, Med Service 056, on departure, turn right heading 290, runway 24, clear for takeoff, wind 25010. Medevac, Med Service 056, affirmative. On departure, turn right heading 290, runway 24, clear for takeoff. Medevac, Med Service 056, contact Philly departure 123.8.
Medevac.
123.8, Mike Tango Sierra 056, Medevac. Thank you, good day.
Medevac Med Service 056, Northeast Tower, contact Philly 123.8. Medevac Med Service, Northeast Tower. Medevac Med Service 056, Northeast Tower, you on frequency?
Medevac Mike Tango Sierra 056, Northeast Tower, how do you hear this transmission?
Medevac Med Service 056, Northeast Tower.
Turkey
60908 Foxtrot Northeast Ground, Roger. Stand by one. I'll get back to you when I can.
Approach to runway 24. What's going on down there?
Position 755. We have a lost aircraft. We're not exactly sure what happened, so we're trying to figure it out. For now, the field is going to be closed, so no inbounds or outbounds probably.
Thank you.
For 60908 Foxtrot, I'm sure you copied that, but for right now, we're gonna call the field closed. We'll try to get you out here when we can. If we can't, we'll have to take you over to Atlantic. But stand by for now.
Holy man! So that was the tower, radio tower, air traffic control.
vehicles just kind of like going around the area or either going to different parts of the area. So that's what we have here right now. Just a lot of people who are just curious. I have to go back to that woman though, Jason, who and Dawn, who talked about she was a nurse. You know, some people hear of something like this, a tragedy, and they want to do what they can just to come out and help.
There's also new video drone footage from the top of the crash. Let's take a look at that too. Some aerial footage to get like an overtop view. That's in. Look how big of a fire that is, man. That's crazy. House is on fire. They said there was for those that came in later, there was a gas line that was burning nonstop. Cars, they said 2 cars on fire. There's a video of somebody. It's so creepy. I can't show it on here because they'll ding me, but I posted it on Discord and Twitter. There's a video of somebody like walking out of the flames on fire. I'm guessing that was like a bystander or somebody in the area that got caught up in the explosion. It looks crazy. And I'm wondering, see this house that's burning here, like, are those people okay? Like, have they evacuated? Hopefully they've evacuated these homes. I mean, is anybody hurt in there, inside of these homes? That bystander doesn't look good. The person that was on fire walking away, I don't know about that. It didn't even look like they were getting any kind of help. Somebody was just recording them.
Anything smoldering when I got here, I expected to see smoke, but it looks like that's not around anymore. I can see there's a fire truck that is not shooting water right now. It seems calm. I expected it to still be burning and stuff, but it's not happening.
Well, we are an hour and a half into this.
Everyone's on standby.
Right. We're an hour and a half into this disaster. And Jason, you pointed this out. I think the focus right now is on the victims, finding anyone who may have been hurt, because earlier in the evening we saw gas lines on fire. We saw multiple cars on fire. We saw, the fireball in the sky. So this is a major disaster that the city is dealing with.
And Mark, I see a gurney in your shot. From where you are, have you seen anybody getting onto an ambulance? Any injured people? Have you seen? Is there debris on the ground near you?
I don't see debris. It looks, because like I said, I zoom out, you can see all these emergency vehicles are just in the way. We can't see past it. But I will tell you, as far as the mood around here, it's where I'm at. It's like a lot of media around here, and everyone is just sharing all these posts from social media. I'm not going to describe them, but it's horrific, and it just can't. I can't believe.
Yeah, it's shocking the really way it happened. Absolutely. It just depends on where you are. If when this first happened, there were reports of just scattered fires burning homes, cars, and there was one. You're looking at one of them. Looks like the windows are blasted out of that home. Is that a home? I believe that's a.
Wow, look at that. Yeah.
So that is a home. It's a bunch of row homes, I guess, on that Leonard. I think it's Leonard Ave.
It's the beginning of some row homes, and you pray nobody was in there. And
if you look beyond it, it looks like, I can't tell, but there's another one. There's another one right there.
Yeah, next to it.
It looks like the window's out there too. This is all Cottman.
Right, and earlier in the evening we saw a house on fire, and it was a house on the corner. So
not sure if that one is it.
We're not sure if this is it or it was someplace else along in that area. But
Mark, do you smell fuel or anything?
Nothing. I don't. That's what I'm saying. Somebody was asking me, what do you smell? I don't smell anything. Yeah. I expected to smell it, but no.
It just depends on where
this one looks like
Steve Keeley is. He must be
have
down
a witness.
from where
I am at least.
I want to hear this witness account. Let's play this here real quick. This is happening live. See what this guy had to say.
But I'm joined with Mikey. He works at the gas station here, and he saw what took place. Mikey, can you describe what you heard and what you saw?
Yeah, so honestly, it was a big ball. I was standing right at the door, and it was a big ball of fire. It just flew into the sky, and the whole gas station started shaking. And like little debris and stuff was flying over there. So I tried to keep the door shut, not let customers out until the debris was gone, so nobody got hurt or anything. Once I seen a big ball of fire, I came outside. I walked straight down there, started seeing a bunch of plane pieces, and it just honestly like a human foot or something. It was in a shoe still. It was on the side of the.
That's what I heard on one of the videos from citizens. Somebody had said they saw body parts around
side of the street, and we seen we seen the houses right here, they literally had caught on fire. The cops didn't even notice that at first. You know, they was trying to attend to where the cars was. It looked like it might have been a little bit of traffic in the street. So when the plane crashed, it literally, every car was engulfed in flames, straight in a straight line. So when the cops came, we were trying to tell them, like, you know, the house is on fire, the house is on fire. So then they finally got a fire truck to go attend to that. But, you know, it's really tragic, and I just pray that everybody is safe, and, you know, I pray for everybody's family, everybody that's involved, and it's sad, it really is.
I know we're all praying for anyone who may be involved, relatives, family, especially because we don't know the extent, the further damage of the casualtiness of this. Now, I know you said that you weren't necessarily in disbelief when this happened, but your adrenaline was pumping, that you took off to see if you could help anyone?
All I wanted to do was help. If there was anything I could have did to assist and help them out, that's all I wanted to do. So, like, when I got over there, the adrenaline was, like, rushing. Like, was no fear, you know what I mean? Like, I just was trying to help in any possible way. I'm a Pennsylvania state agent, so I just wanted to see if I could assist and help out in any way possible. But, you know, the cops, they did a really great job. They locked it down, tried to push everybody back, because it seemed like everybody was going towards the fire, which, again, the fire, you could smell the jet fuel, and it was all black smoke around, so they was trying to push people back so that way they wasn't inhaling that, you know? And, yeah, it's sad, it really is.
There were a lot of cars and vehicles, too. I mean, there's a lot of video that people have been sending in to us. A lot of vehicles also caught on fire.
Yeah, so actually, there was a lady, she was just in enough time. Like, when I say just enough time, she just was able to get through, but she drove straight through. She pulled to the side of where the AutoZone is over there, and she got in the car, and she was like, what just happened? She was, like, in shock. And I was like, I don't know. She had a big piece of metal that flew into the back of her car window, busted her car window.
Oh my gosh, you can only imagine. I mean, I'm sure every person that was driving along the boulevard at this time, traffic probably came to a stop. People were trying to figure out what's going on. Am I safe? What's happening?
Right, and that's another thing. You know, the Roosevelt Boulevard is very busy, especially right here at Cottman. So when it happened, there was a lot of cars over there, you know? So like when I could see, it was literally a line of fire on every car. Like every single car, it was like just a line of fire. Everything was on fire. And then they said that another guy came into the gas station. He happened to be right there over at Assad's Hot Chicken, and he said that he saw the plane go right over top of the Dunkin' Donuts, almost hit the Dunkin' Donuts, just missed the Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah.
Did you see any other people exiting their vehicles or running or asking for help?
There was a lot of cars that had like metal pieces that shattered their windows and stuff. You know, people didn't know what was going on. None of the planes were still in the sky, so their response was quick.
And how are you feeling now that your adrenaline has it calmed down a little bit, or are you still pumped up?
I'm just upset, you know, like this is tragic to happen in Philadelphia, you know what I mean? Like it's just, a plane just crashed and all them innocent people lost their lives and stuff. So for this to just happen again, it's just like, it's mind-boggling to me, seriously, it really is.
Yes, a lot of questions and answers that we still need to find out tonight as we hope to learn more from officials here. Gray, Shari.
Okay, Brianna, the sentiment just can't be lost on us. It is really impacting people differently because of what just recently happened at the nation's capital. People are very concerned about their safety, safety of others, as we see these images that are coming in and the devastation, the fires that are everywhere. Some of the video, Gray, I was just speaking with you about it. A couple of commanders sent me some video, and people who had no idea, of course, this was coming, were then impacted by the flames and the explosion that followed. Literally people who were caught on fire while they were caught off guard by this. There is some very disturbing video that is out there. We also know that several people had to be transported to the hospital with burns. We want to go now to Action News reporter Leland Pender, who's at Jefferson Hospital. On the ground there. This seems to be for sure one of the hospitals where some of those who were burned or injured tonight.
Show you the scene. Activity here at Jefferson Torresdale is sporadic. The entry there to the ER still blocked off by a police officer. He is closely monitoring who is coming in and out of the hospital. Some people being turned away every time.
You live in the area or work?
Cruisetown. Yeah, I live not too far.
Just walking around here, even right now, what are you seeing? What's the mood like out here?
Somber, concerning. They're trying to keep people back because we heard the gas lines were at risk. I haven't seen an after explosion yet.
Have you smelled anything, seen smoke since this happened?
We saw a lot of smoke and we saw fire down there.
When you hear that they're saying that this, was a medical flight.
We heard the same
doctors
thing.
And patients on board.
Or Memphis or something.
What does that do to you? It's heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking anybody, anytime, but certainly from what we heard, there were 2 doctors, a patient, a friend, I guess a pilot and crew, whatever. But any tragedy like this is horrific. It's terrible.
What's the area like as far as getting around? I mean, you're on foot, so you're free to move, just not beyond the barricades, but even traffic-wise?
Traffic, it looks like it's moving a little better now, but, all of Bustleton was backed up before, and obviously here on Cottman, they're starting, or they've kept diverting traffic farther away, so nobody can get, even close at all.
And last thing, so I can let you guys go out of the rain, why'd you decide to come down here as far as you could walk?
We were just shopping and maybe going to grab something to eat. So we were inside one of the stores at the time. And then when we came out, that's when we saw the melee and fire and smoke. And then just, red light blue.
Needs anything. A hug. Just to be around.
Well said. Thank you so much.
So crazy situation. Another plane crash, small plane crash. There's been conflicting reports whether it was 2 people or 6 people. The FAA said 2 people. I thought the governor had tweeted or put out 6, so I don't know what's up with that. And they were saying it's a medical plane and trying to confirm that as well. But it said one of the debris said rescue. Crazy, man. Civilians on the ground, Philadelphia now being reported as being set on fire by blaze from crash. So a couple of people, I guess, caught fire from this crash.
Let's go now to Action News reporter Brianna Smith, who is near the scene of the crash, as close as we can.
Let's see what our friend here has to say. Hold on. We're here on TikTok.
You too.
Probably nothing.
I'm praying for every single person in this live. I want everybody to be safe, but please, I'm not even trying to I did not go on live for malicious intent. I just want you guys to see. I don't know where you're living. I don't know where you're from. I don't know what time it is where you are, but I want you to see that a part of my world where I'm from, like, you are only seeing what's going on around you. I live in Philly. That's in Pennsylvania. It's a war zone out here as is, and I'm just showing y'all what exactly is going on where I live, where I'm from, where I grew up. Like,
okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, this video was nuts. The Ring doorbell.
Right.
Before the crash.
And it seems fairly close. You can see the plane there.
House.
A ball of fire.
And 2 explosions.
Run
one
inside,
after
man.
the other.
Yeah.
Which makes you think.
I would have thought it's a terrorist attack. I would have thought it was a missile, a bomb, or some shit.
Plane falling.
Yeah, I would have ran inside, man.
At the same time, was this plane intact by the time it hit the ground? Your guess is as good as mine. But these poor folks just, running inside for.
And I wonder, are those black boxes going to be intact to recover? Those black boxes. That thing took a straight hit into oh man, it's got a.
And there's the other video on the left of the fireball.
Yeah.
That one not showing the simultaneous back-to-back blasts.
Once it leaves northeast, the flight data that gives me a sense of the direction of the plane. Once it leaves Northeast Philadelphia Airport, we've been saying less than 5 miles in distance from point of impact. And from the airport, it's actually less as the crow flies.
Yeah, right over the Dunkin'
The plane
Donuts.
leaves the airport in a direction, southward direction from the runway. It crosses Pennypack Creek, which is then where the boulevard is crossing the creek, and sort of makes a curve and then comes around and makes this sharp descent at a rate that shows at last check of the radar it was coming down in the sky at a rate of 11,000 feet per minute.
Wow. Wow. And the result of that, Joe, if you can look at your monitor, I don't mean to interrupt you, but the result of that you can see again in this new video that we have just put on the air. To the right of you see the moment of impact, the explosion, the debris.
See it. And if the plane was fully fueled, that means that it was carrying just under 7,000 pounds of jet fuel. And I'm looking at the I'm looking actually at in that video, the colors of the combustion. It almost seems that there are purple.
It did look like that, yeah.
Associated with this initial explosion. And for the benefit of our viewers at home, we're not experts, but I've seen my fair share of fires. And as Arthur Walk, our aviation expert, has described, this likely was carrying a full capacity of jet fuel upon impact.
And here's that impact once again to the right of your screen.
Alan Through said Mel's alcohol IV fund for his next flight. Yeah, I don't have a choice. I have to fly too, man. Damn. I would have driven if I could. Oh, man. Michelle, thanks so much for the 10.
A lot of police activity.
After this incident that you are looking right now, a small plane crashes in Northeast Philadelphia.
For the love of God.
And Joe, you were
I'm
talking.
a Catholic school girl. I went to Catholic school my whole life. Okay? And I can say this, everything they've taught me, the number one thing they've taught me, when I have no faith in anything in this world, put my faith in God. And I always put my faith in God. And I want every person.
Okay. All right. Holy moly. All right. So let me check on the internet, see what people are talking about, see if I can find some more clips. Crazy. I'm being tagged.
Alarm is struck for the Philadelphia Fire Department a few moments after that at 6:12 and then at 6:15 a second alarm goes. Not
creeping up on 2 years.
A third alarm is struck, and then Philadelphia Fire declares an all-hands emergency as fire and police rush to the scene. We have the benefit of police radio telling us that officers were met with carnage and crowds, people, debris, trying to get the folks separated from the danger as multiple fires burned in the area, as well as businesses, other buildings, at least one home, and an untold number of cars. In this video right here, you see the officers doing their jobs as police radio appropriately and correctly displayed for us, that these officers were telling people to get out of harm's way. This photo, one of the first we did see tonight, of the absolute wreckage and the debris across Cottman Avenue at Rupert Street. This is on the northwest side of Roosevelt Boulevard. And again, we see that from flight data, the plane takes off. It is described a Learjet 55. Yuki confirming moments ago that we've learned 6 souls aboard that plane, a medical plane by designation. The plane leaves the ground and is making its ascent. And Arthur Walk concludes from his professional opinion, something mechanical in nature had to have happened. And as quickly as that plane was ascending, it came down, descending in less than 5 miles.
And the angle of that descent, I don't know if we can find that video and pull that up, but the angle of descent was very telling. There it is, according to Arthur Walk. Something definitely had to malfunction. And Joe, you were talking earlier about the people you were first in contact with and the way they described it all, saying it was a significant event, very graphic scene, numerous buildings and cars on fire, an absolute disaster. And that's what we're looking at right now.
There was the description from one of my sources who was incredulous and sort of lost for words. And, as we sort of think back about the 2 hours almost that we've been trying to learn and explain and absorb what we're hearing, what we're seeing, what we're understanding, is that, some of these folks have seen the worst. And, they come upon things that most of us are running from. They're running in, as the saying goes, and just described it a disaster. And then they had to get off the phone very quickly and provided us with some information. I know that the information from Councilman Mike Driscoll indicated that the mayor would be joining the command center, and I'm still waiting to hear back from the mayor's office if there's anything, again, that we can advance and share with our viewers. Clearly, they are busy.
No doubt.
And they're working this disaster.
Yeah, we hope to hear from the mayor and other city officials as they begin to set up for a news conference to bring us up to date. But we here at CBS Philadelphia can tell you that a small Learjet 55, has crashed in Northeast Philadelphia with 6 people on board. Six people on board.
It's interesting. Philly channel is still saying 6. I don't know why the FAA was saying 2. So we're still trying to clear that up.
On board, and a family member of that patient was on board as well. 6 people, and then this happened just after 6 o'clock this evening in Northeast Philadelphia as that plane was leaving to go to Springfield, Missouri. Wow, it's been quite a night. It's been quite a night, and investigators are on the scene right now, and the weather has been cooperating in this investigation right now as they try to put everything together to find people from the neighborhood that may be affected not only psychologically but physically, because that debris went everywhere. Jet fuel went everywhere. People heard it and reacted in a panic manner, as you might imagine, saying, oh my God, a plane. And that's just what happened, and you're looking at the aftermath right now. That happened just after 6 o'clock. And Grant, you were saying that the weather is okay for that investigation right now.
Yeah, I mean, you have some rain out there. They can manage the rain. It's light, maybe a little bit heavier at times, but temperatures are, like you said, Yuki, are cooperating. It's 50 degrees in the Northeast right now. It's 50 in Philadelphia as well. So, I mean, for all intent and purposes, a very mild January evening. I mean, you're looking at temperatures could be very well into the teens, if not, colder than that, with some wind chills. And that
in deep parts of the plane, I don't know if you would think the airport's north of here, then you would think, the plane crashed and then careened across Cottman Avenue, and that's why we saw the vehicles on fire, and then the house is on fire, and the gas line on fire. So you would think there was parts on this side of Cottman Avenue, and then maybe careened across Cottman Avenue, or through the Cottman Avenue into the vehicles, and then into that house on the corner as well.
And then if your cameraman can.
The Drama Alert posted sensitive packages, quote unquote, were on board the crash plane in Philadelphia, according to a new report. It's not clear what that means. Speculation is either organ donations or rare blood. I don't know.
Yeah, 2 police officers, Corporal Jasmine Riley, who I deal with, she and I walked over to that because she says, I'm told there's a tank from the plane. It had a number 10 on it. It had, labeled Jet Medical. And then there you see the diner next to the McDonald's. Most of their lights are out. The restaurant word is out, but you see restaurant and diner with the red lights. And we're told another tank went over there. I can't confirm that, but I will as soon as I get off the air with you guys.
We are showing your tweet right now, Steve. We are showing that tank that you're describing on the air right now.
Yeah, that McDonald's now shut down, and pretty much every business in the area is closed.
Oxygen tank.
Yeah, and there was other debris in the McDonald's. That's why they're saying, let's clear out this parking lot so we can see the parking lot, because people may have had cars parked there and debris may have been flung under their cars. They were parked there. So they cleared all the cars out of that lot and cleared all the people out of that lot as well.
So as we heard from Sergeant Grip, that we will hear from the police in about 20 minutes. I would imagine dignitaries, the mayor will eventually make her way out there. This is my assumption. On a moment like this, it's still chaos, and we're still trying to gauge the amount of injuries on the ground. Oh, we're seeing a shot here now of a burned out car. I'm not sure where this is. This might be in the parking lot of the Roosevelt. Is this live on the right? Okay, that's live on the right. So now we're getting an idea of the aftermath in one of these parking lots with a charred out car.
Yeah, so Mark Lavala is our photojournalist out there on the scene. What can you tell us, Mark?
Well, a couple fire department vehicles just moved, and I'm seeing this for the first time now. That is not the parking lot. That is Cottman Ave. Just beyond Leonard Street. I don't know if I was calling it Leonard Street earlier. I might have called it Leonard Ave, but it's Leonard Street. There's a Raising Cane's across the street that's on Cottman, and Leonard Street is directly across. Now, I can't see the house that was burning anymore, but after those vehicles moved, you are now looking at, like you said, a burned out car, and I don't even want to guess what's in the middle there, but there's a lot of debris right there.
Yeah.
So that's actually, we're looking at Cottman right now. That's Cottman.
That's Cottman. That is Cottman. Yeah. So Steve Keeley was talking. He was on the other. My shot is facing towards Roosevelt Boulevard. So Steve Keeley, like if you look at that 18, the number 18 fire truck right there, I believe Steve was on the other side of that, and so I'm totally opposite of him. And I am like, this is what's in between us.
Wow. Mark, hold on there for 1 minute because
imagine this.
We just got some information from Jet Rescue Air Ambulance. They released a statement saying that at approximately 6:25, Jet Rescue Air Ambulance experienced a crash. The Lear Jet 55 crashed after takeoff from Philadelphia, and they are saying that there were 4 crew members and 1 passenger, a pediatric patient on board. No further information is available at this time. They go on to say that they cannot confirm any survivors. No names are being released at this time until family members have been notified. It says our immediate concern is for the patient's family, our personnel, their families, and other victims that may have been hurt on the ground. And then it just says more information will be released as it becomes available. And this is coming from Jet Rescue Air Ambulance. This was released just a short time ago from that company.
Back to Mark here, because this is as bad as we've seen the devastation on the ground. This is our closest look at it. I mean, here, Mark, it looks like, I mean, this is ground zero.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of when I was trying to describe, because, you know, we don't want to disrespect the scene too much, and I'm hoping we're not seeing anything, you know, too graphic, but it just looks like, I mean, I see that car ahead.
Are you serious,
and
Max?
I did see some workers, you know, using their phones and taking pictures, you know, probably doing video walks.
If you back up here, can you just widen out here? And I just kind of want to get a better lay of the land. Okay, so there you can see.
So this is the Leonard Street.
Yes.
That's the house where I was telling you about.
Let me show you this video. This video says witnesses video provided to me.
What is it? No, it came out the sky.
It's crazy, dude.
It came out the sky.
Let me make sure this is watchable. I don't know what they're going to show here. Hold on. Let me just double check. I think it is. I wonder who they're talking to about Get Down. Yeah, I think it's watchable. Okay. I don't know. Maybe it's off camera. I don't know. Somebody else.
Oh my God.
What is it, a plane?
There's like cops right there too?
It just came out that sky. No, it's a car. They house on fire.
Oh, yes, the house was seen on the aerial view and some of the video footage.
A plane just crashed in Cottman Mall.
Is it a plane or a car?
That shit was a plane. That shit just flew over top of my head when I was going back into work. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is just like insanity, man. What's been happening?
Scenes you would see people running around, and going back and forth. I'm not seeing that at all.
We're a little over 2 hours into this. I mean, the plane reportedly went down at 6:30 tonight after taking off from Northeast Philadelphia Airport. And so 2 hours in, we're still trying to figure out exactly what caused that plane to just drop from the sky and burst into a fireball.
Dawn, if I can
crash.
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Can I just interrupt you for a second? I don't think we described this earlier, but I'm now looking at the house that was on Leonard Street. Earlier, we did not. I don't know if you had the shut up, but I did see fire crews walking through.
Walking through the house?
Guess they were walking through the house earlier. Yes, I don't know if we had that up. That's this house right here, but that is not the case anymore.
Here's the plane, Mexico registration.
And does the house look burned out? I mean, it does from our vantage.
It looks like a facade. Look at this door. Yeah, you look at the door. It looks like that. You know, there might have been flames at the point. I mean, you see the
scorch marks.
That awning there looks like it's burnt up. Yeah. I'm going to go back to the. I'm going to go back to the ground zero. Here we go. Here we go. They're walking through now. You see fire crews, but.
And
Again,
these crews have been on the scene for hours in these horrific conditions. It's rainy, it's cold, it's windy.
That person that was on fire walking out of the flames and stuff, people were saying that like maybe they were in shock because they were just walking. They were on fire, but just like walking. I guess they shocked. Maybe they didn't even know they were on fire.
There's not a lot of plane.
Yeah, we don't even want to guess. Yeah,
here.
we don't even want to guess. Yeah, you can't even guess.
But you are looking at Cotman Ave and Leonard Street, which is just northwest of the boulevard. But basically, it's Cotman between Roosevelt and Bustleton. And that's what you're looking at there. It's just a war zone. It's ground zero, as we're, I guess, calling it. And
right, horrific scene.
Yeah, and can we show the ring camera of the two people coming into the house again? This really gives you an idea of the ferocity in which this plane, this aircraft, came down. We'll pull that up in just a moment. It's a fluid situation. We are waiting on police and officials to give us their first press conference since this happened. And I would imagine there's a lot to still be learned. I'm not sure how much.
Okay, Raw Alerts is posting that the Philadelphia fire chief has confirmed that there are multiple casualties from the plane crash and outside the area, though the exact number remains unknown. Witnesses report seeing dozens of body parts scattered on rooftops, streets, and other locations. Police are urging the public to avoid the area. Holy moly. Holy. Dozens of body parts scattered on rooftops, streets, and other locations. This is just, I don't know.
And in Leonard Street, our photographer Mark Lavala with this shot here, and he's, showing us this burned out car. You can see, smoke still coming from the street there, and just.
You've got the Roosevelt Mall right on the other side of the street here, and there's a Raising Cane's, there's a Dunkin', and here's that video.
Yeah.
Let's just take a look again. Couple coming home, and they have the door open, and two slams.
Can you imagine? Like she looks like she has something in her hand, the woman, and to have that happen, and it looks like two explosions.
He reacts before the explosion. He hears something falling from the sky, and before you know it, he turns around and there's a fireball. I mean, look at the camera. You lose sight of everything. That's how bright things were.
And I'm just curious. I'm just wondering where they are in relation to that fireball in the sky, because like you said, he stopped, so they were close enough to hear something loud, and we also have been hearing from other people that they heard an explosion.
Yeah.
So.
And back live, but it's such a heavily populated area that.
So they're going to hold a press conference, 8:45 p.m. Eastern. So that's coming up in a few minutes, guys. So just hang on.
As well, and you better believe the NTSB will look at each and every one of them to try to figure out what happened. You just can't help but notice it's almost already a fireball before it hits the ground.
Right, and it's kind of surreal. And then we see that fireball in the sky, Jason, and then we see multiple fires on the ground, cars on fire, a house on fire, at a time of the evening when everybody is either headed home from work, from school, headed out for the evening. Again, here's this couple coming home and opening the door and just witnessing this disaster right before their eyes.
Yeah, the people on the ground, I can't even imagine what they saw, felt. I mean, just with no warning, suddenly a fireball right on Cottman between Bustleton and the Boulevard, and now a firefighter's still there. Obviously they're still trying to make sure that there are no danger of fire. Let's go in now and listen to officials give us their first update. It's Mayor Sherelle Parker along with firefighters.
Let me start by thanking each of you for being here. I want to go through some basic facts about what we know for certain right now. An aircraft went down in the vicinity of Roosevelt Mall on Cottman Avenue. This occurred shortly after 6 p.m. this evening. As of right now, we have no reports on the number of fatalities. So right now we're just asking for prayers for any and everyone who may have been affected. We do want to note that several dwellings and vehicles were impacted. So what are we asking you to do for us right now, Philadelphia? We're urging you to please stay away from the scene. If you see debris, call 911. Don't touch anything. This is still an active scene under investigation. I'm proud to note that all of our federal and state partners, they are either en route here or on the ground with us right now. We did see some neighbors who live in the surrounding community. Just stay in your home. Again, it's still an active scene and it's under investigation. This is only the first of many briefings, I'm sure, to come on this evening. And of course, when daylight comes, when we have more facts and information to share with you. But I do want to say a special thank you right now, again, to all of our federal and state partners and our amazing first responders right here in the city of Philadelphia. Our fire, our EMS, our police department, they have been here working vigorously to ensure that we get this perimeter and the surrounding area blocked off to ensure that we make public safety and health our #1 priority. So we don't have any further information to share at this time. I've spoken to our Governor Josh Shapiro. He is en route. I've spoken to our U.S. Senator John Fetterman, other federal officials, and everyone. All hands on deck. That's where we are right now. Thank you so very much, and we'll have more information to report in the near future.
Thank you, Mayor. And that appears to be it. Just, I didn't expect a lot there. It's just so fluid, and there's so many things yet to be determined. So Mayor Sherelle Parker, the main point they're saying, if you come across debris, first of all, stay away from the area. Don't touch anything. And if you see any debris, call 911. So that's really was the gist of what she had to say early on. She had no information on injuries, fatalities, casualties on the ground. I would have liked to have known, what the hospital situations are like, what the triage units in some of the area hospitals are like. Still too soon to tell. You're looking on the right at what we believe is ground zero where this crash happened on Cottman, and on the left the mayor along with the police commissioner Kevin Bethel and Adam Teal, the managing director, the former fire chief, was all there. But again, they did not take questions. Just a very stern ask of the mayor to don't touch anything. And
Shawnette and Steve Keeley both were saying that there were a lot of people who live in that neighborhood who had come out to see what was happening, to see the scene. Some people gawking, and basically the mayor is saying, please don't do that. Stay away from the scene. Stay in your homes. And if you do see something that you suspect may be a piece of wreckage from the plane, any kind of evidence that may be related to this huge disaster, to call 911, not to touch it, not to do anything, but basically, keep away from this scene. And we do know that Roosevelt Boulevard is closed to traffic right now. And the mayor, Jason, saying all hands on deck, that she had talked to Governor Josh Shapiro and that he was on his way to the city of Philadelphia to do whatever he can to help in this crisis the city is facing at this moment.
It's pretty shocking to think about, just 2 plane crashes in just a couple of days, one right here in our own backyard, one down in D.C. What does that mean on a federal level when you're talking about 2 major crashes that have, wide-ranging implications? How will the NTSB divvy up that? The FAA says the NTSB will be leading the investigation into this. It could be months before we have an official cause, whether they can recover. I mean, can you imagine trying to find a black box here?
I know, that's
I'm not
a
sure
thing.
if that plane, I think that the Lear 55 has one, I would imagine.
There's some plane crashes I've covered, not covered, but I've watched that, crashes that have straight dived, and some of those black boxes are pretty damaged. I don't know. Hopefully they can recover it. It says they're saying that the air traffic controllers attempted to reach the flight several times with no luck. So what happened on the flight that they were trying to reach these people and there was no reply, no response?
Where the controller tried to reach this flight several times to no avail. It's a very morose and grim tale that we have seen play out one more time in the United States.
What happened on it that they couldn't reply? Multiple fatalities on the ground. They don't know how many, and reports of multiple body parts scattered.
Thoroughfare, and there are multiple fatalities on the ground, I'm being told, including a couple in nearby homes from the explosion itself. The mall was not struck. Thoroughfare, and there are
The mayor, she said right now she does not have any report on the number of fatalities, that she's just asking for prayers. She did confirm that several houses and vehicles were impacted, and we have seen video of a house on fire. We've seen cars on fire. We've heard from people on the ground describing an absolutely horrific.
I was just tagged, and I'm definitely not going to show this, but a foot. It's crazy. It's crazy. Body parts are spread everywhere on Cotton Man Avenue right now. Body parts are spread everywhere on Cotton Man Avenue right now. So this impact from the plane is bigger than what was being reported. This is so sad. Prayers to the family. Oh my God. Yeah, be careful what you look at on Twitter, man. If you don't want to see that stuff, oh my God.
Never forget. This is one of those days you'll never forget, this terrible crash that happened, and now we have so few answers about what happened and who's truly impacted here. And just some of those videos of folks reacting in real time. There's another surveillance type video of the fireball as the sky was bright orange in this moment. Firefighters doing a tremendous job getting all the fires out and doing the best they can in this chaotic situation where the smell of fuel was in the air. Visually, you couldn't see anything, black smoke, and people in the mall. I'm not sure how crowded the mall was at this time. You have to assume there was a lot of people at 6 p.m. And so let's get out to our Cheyenne Corinne. She is where Mark Lavala was, along Cotman Avenue. Cheyenne, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Jason, and I just heard you say the word chaotic, and I think that's the best way to describe this scene right here. Just to give you guys some perspective, we're here at Roosevelt Mall. This is right near the Raising Cane's, the Panda food, and just trying to navigate this scene myself, I actually had to have a police officer escort me, and that kind of just speaks to the danger that's in this area. And right now, a lot of people, they have a lot of questions about what exactly happened, but as you just heard the mayor say, the priority right now is people staying safe. And of course, we are working to figure out what exactly caused this crash. But right here behind me, you can see that we are kind of right near ground zero. That home that was on the corner, you can see that it has some damage. It actually was on fire. And just trying to get to the scene, I was going through the neighborhood, and a lot of people were asking, what exactly happened. And to be quite honest with you, a lot of people are really afraid because we just saw exactly what happened over in DC on the Potomac River. A lot of people have questions about how does this happen back to back, because the reality of the matter is this is something that doesn't happen often. So a lot of people are on edge. I mean, it was a Friday evening. People were coming home from work. Some people were getting ready to enjoy their weekend. And then something like this happens right in their backyard. And as you said, this is Northeast Philadelphia. Right here, there's a shopping center, there's homes. This is a very...
Okay, so Brian Enton posted latest on Philadelphia Learjet crash. Jet Rescue Air Ambulance says there were 4 crew members and 2 passengers. So now we're going back again on the numbers, which is different than the FAA report saying 2 people. Why is the FAA saying 2 people? Because most places, I guess, are saying it was 6 people. Jet Rescue says pediatric patient, patient escort, and 4 crew members on board. And that's sad when you think about that. Pediatric patients, that's a kid, child, baby, you know, somebody underage. Pediatric patient and patient escort. So probably somebody underage and maybe with their parent. Patient escort. Wow.
A lot of people, I mean, it's just natural for you to step outside your door and you're just wondering exactly what is happening. People are freaked out, for the lack of a better word. And like you just said, like how I found out about this happening, my phone was going off. You know, a lot of my family members in Northeast Philadelphia were reaching out. I was reaching out to them, and that's a lot of what's going on. People are reaching out to their family members to make sure, if you live in this area, that they are okay. So that's definitely top of priority for people here. And a lot of people are just like, well, what is next? What possibly more could happen? Because we are still very much so on edge after what happened in DC, and it's hard to ignore what just happened, you know, less than 2 days ago. And then this hitting so close to home, it definitely has a lot of people frightened.
I'm curious if you had a chance to speak to any witnesses who saw or heard anything.
I did. I spoke to one guy actually on my way when I was trying to make my way here, and he said that he literally like opened his front door, and he said people were saying like, get down, get down, get down. And of course, you know, when you hear get down, you automatically get down. He wasn't sure what they were saying get down for. He wasn't sure if there was a shooting going on, but he was just still shaken up because this is definitely not what he expected. If anything, he expected it to be some type of unfortunate shooting happening in his neighborhood, but he did not expect it to be, you know, a plane crash.
Oh my God, why are you guys tagging me in this?
Yeah, an explosion, and people reported feeling shaking, a deafening sound, and a fireball that just really engulfed cars and homes in the area.
Oh my gosh.
Fire crews doing their best to try to put those out.
It says victim is shown on the roof from explosion and jet crash.
It's, a lot of people are like, this is like nothing they've seen before. And actually, that police officer who escorted me over here, what she had to say, she said, this is just crazy. You know, and there's a lot of things that police officers see here in Philadelphia. So for a Philly police officer to say this is just crazy, it definitely says something.
Well, and even seasoned journalists, Mark Lavala, Steve Keeley, decades and decades covering news in this city, even they seem a little perplexed and just dumbfounded by what has just happened in Northeast Philly tonight, and the way this aircraft crashed right on Cotman at rush hour. And so, it's just... And now so little answers about how everyone's doing, and most importantly, the loss of life here in Northeast Philly as well.
Absolutely. Right, and definitely the loss of life that possibly, you know, could be coming. You know, we talked about the home there. We know that there was a lot of homes on damage. There's police right now. They're making some type of announcement, probably telling people to clear the area. But definitely the focus is making sure that people are okay and safe. And we know, obviously, there's the NTSB investigation. But right now...
This is a really interesting clip. Thank you for the tag. It says 0.25 speed. Was it on fire? And this is what I was asking earlier. Was the airplane already like on fire when it was coming down? It almost looked like it was on fire when it came out of the sky, the clouds there. Interesting. Weird, no response. Because even if, let's say, like there was a medical condition, from inside of a house next to the crash. I don't know what this is. What is this? Bro, I'm getting tagged in all kinds of like crazy shit. I don't even. Oh my god, this is just horrible, dude. Even if the pilot had some sort of medical condition, they usually have another person there. They should be able to just take over the plane. I think there's some type of medical condition that happened.
What they are going to, but they could possibly be going to, maybe get some people out of their homes. But we definitely see them working in this back alleyway area, and this is the first time that I have seen them focus over here. And also, if you look towards me, there's some firefighters that are working right here. So it does seem like some of the work is being brought towards this direction. So we'll definitely work to try to figure out. But we did just see those police officers walk towards the back of those homes.
The scene on the ground is brutal. From what they're saying, if you go on Twitter, be careful if you have like if you don't, if you're very sensitive to that stuff, because I'm seeing it all over Twitter pop up, body parts and stuff like that. It is, the scene is brutal. It's definitely graphic. All over the place, it looks like. And I'm starting to think, I'm kind of wondering if there's more fatalities than just the plane crash. People on the ground, the explosions, the fire, the cars, the houses on fire.
Power, but if you pan right, Mark, to those row homes, there are lights on in there. So perhaps, I don't know if it's a backup generator or if they have power there, but, crews had to shut off the gas, I think, in this area.
And we saw Pico out there.
Cheyenne, you there? I think we lost Cheyenne's mic, but we still see her shot. But fire crews are still there monitoring the situation. That house that we're looking at right in the middle of your screen was on fire at one point. They still have a ladder up where I believe firefighters went room to room, floor to floor, looking for people in that house. We have no information on who was in there, whether anybody was home. I'm praying nobody was home. And that's you still see smoldering back beyond that other house, too.
And that's the thing. We don't know the situation regarding injuries or casualties on the ground. We know that Jet Rescue Air Ambulance confirms that the plane was headed to Branson National Airport in Missouri, and we're understanding that there were 4 crew members, a passenger, probably a family member, and a pediatric patient. And they are saying that they can't confirm any survivors, but we have no idea the situation on the ground either here in Philadelphia. Because we know that houses caught fire, we know cars caught fire. We don't know that car that we saw earlier that was completely burned out. Was anybody in that car? We do know it was an extremely busy time. It was rush hour. It was just after 6:30 in a super busy section of the city when this all happened.
Cheyenne,
So an aircraft mechanic who worked on this particular aircraft says it is prone to stalling due to weight and stability. Let me see.
I was an aircraft mechanic and worked on this Longhorn of the Lear 55, I believe it was. But they are really prone to stalling, and their weight and balance is extremely critical. Even the way that you fuel it, have you fuel the wings first, or if you fuel the tail first. If you fuel the tail first, it'll actually literally take the nose wheel off the ground. So it's critically important that weight and balance, of course, it's too early to know what the cause is, but to see that it's going straight down like that, it looks like a stall. There was no airspeed. It appears to be rotating a little bit as well, too, so as Mary pointed out. So I think it looks to me like there was some kind of failure that caused the stall of the aircraft. It wasn't, it's going straight in. Just horrific to watch that, isn't it?
Yeah, how did it stall?
6. That is the medical flight company.
6 people.
Says that 6 were on board. This is according to the company, and that there is no confirmation tonight that any survived.
Right.
So we've had conflicting reports, but that is the latest.
That is the latest from the medical company.
Country of region is Mexico.
Okay. And that's actually what we were initially reporting. If you remember, we were initially reporting that there were 6 on board and the FFA said 2. And that kind of, right now there's a lot of questions, but it speaks to exactly, what was, on board, right, of this jet. But definitely 6 people, that is the latest update, and that is what we first reported here. And you can also see, if you go towards the scene really hasn't died down at all. But Mark, can you show the water that the firefighters right now are...
Sorry, what did you say?
The water that the firefighters are right now trying to put out or something. Zoom in right there. Can you see exactly what they are focusing on?
The person went flying through the window during
Jason,
impact.
can you see the fire that the firefighters are trying to...
I see, all I see is those firefighters gathered at this point, but...
It's hard to see
well, far in
beyond
the distance, you can see that they're... Okay, well, far in the distance, you can see that they really are focused on one particular area here at the scene. But this is just, honestly, again, as you said, it's some sort of chaos. There's actually some people that are starting to, come outside. But again, the weather's not the best right now. So I think that to a degree, that's kind of helping some people stay inside. But in between, when you came to me last, I went back on social media, and people definitely are, shocked, especially hearing that update that there were 6 people on board. And now, there is a question of, what exactly was happening, where we know they were headed to Missouri, what was actually on board. So there's all of those questions. But right now, we see officials again. I think these are fire officials. Hello, how are you? Fire officials making their way back to the scene, and that's really the focus here.
All right, let's keep your shot up here. I just, Dawn kind of read the statement earlier, but it's from Jet Rescue Air Ambulance. That's who owned the plane and operated the plane. And they said at 6:25 tonight, Jet Rescue Air Ambulance experienced a crash. There were 4 crew members and 2 passengers, including a pediatric patient and an escort. You have to assume a child and a parent.
Right. And they were headed to Springfield Branson National Airport. That is in Missouri. Yeah. And Steve Keeley showed us earlier an oxygen tank with the company's name on it that presumably is part of this massive wreckage that has been just strewn across blocks and blocks of this area at Roosevelt Mall. Roosevelt Boulevard is closed. There is a sea of...
So the FAA apparently corrected their numbers. There were 4 crew members and 2 passengers. So the FAA was somehow wrong. Interesting.
We understand the governor's on his way. We'll hear from him when he gets there. Our Shawnette Wilson also reporting that people may be displaced, which would not surprise me at all.
Oh,
with,
yeah, for sure.
Some of these homes that caught fire, and so I don't know where they're going to go tonight. I'm sure people will step up and help them. Again.
And the mayor confirming too, when you talk about people displaced, that homes and...
They're saying President Trump has been briefed on Philadelphia's plane crash. So who knows? Maybe we'll hear something from him. I don't know if we'll hear it tonight or tomorrow. This is just crazy, man. And to have such, a child on board, a medical patient, and they're saying there's multiple fatalities on the ground, including a couple in nearby homes.
Thoroughfare, and there are multiple fatalities on the ground, I'm being told, including a couple in nearby homes from the explosion itself. The mall was not struck.
Yeah.
The entire neighborhood. We have shown you many doorbell cameras, each one more shocking than the next. What are these firefighters carrying here? Not sure, but they are emerging from the scene. You're looking at Cottman. They're walking on Cottman Ave here. I think they have a ladder.
Right.
In their hands.
It looks like equipment there that they're carrying, and it's been a long night for these emergency responders, Jason.
Yeah, and it's just
they've been in the thick of this for 3 hours now. We've had people describing the scene as chaotic. It does seem like it's calmed down substantially since we first went on the air with this disaster. But
beyond those firefighters are power, possibly Pico or another.
This is a massive crash for a little plane or a small plane. What are they doing here?
Or and addressed. That was a big issue earlier. It literally struck so hard it rattled the underground gas lines, and there were fires everywhere. Yeah, little fires everywhere. Some like in a tornado type of a pattern. Some of these fires, but those are all addressed. Again,
you can see, you can see this, this house here on the corner that Mark had shown us earlier, clearly impacted by this disaster, by fire. We understand that Governor Josh Shapiro is probably about 15 minutes away, and of course we will be hearing from him. He probably needs to be briefed. We did not get a lot of information from the mayor. She spoke a little while ago, just asking for people's prayers, saying that there was no number on any reported casualties, asking people to stay away from the area. And this is significant if they see debris, because we've heard all evening that this debris is just strewn everywhere, all across this area.
Maybe a half mile.
Right. And if you see it, don't touch it. Just call 911, because the FAA and NTSB investigators need to piece this all together, and all of this will help them as they try to figure out what exactly went wrong tonight.
Mark, can you pan up? And I wonder if those drones are still there. At one point, there were 4 to 5 of them over the scene. There's one blinking. These, I would imagine, are, that looks like it could be a fire or police drone with cameras that really could give first responders a good idea of the crash scene, the perimeter, and any other evidence they might be able to gather. I have to assume that those who need medical attention have been addressed, transported. There's another one over, I believe that might be the mall area there. There's, again, it's a large scene between a residential area, businesses, restaurants, and so on, and still some smoldering homes, row homes in the area. So there may be some displaced people. We have crews headed to the hospital as well to see how that effort is going for anybody on the ground who may have been injured. Again, just so much to still be learned. And we just, all we can do is kind of give you the play-by-play here of what's going on here in hour 3. And it's still a very much an active scene. I have to think this is going to be a shutdown scene for days, if not longer.
And let's head back out to our Cheyenne Corinne, who is at the scene. And have you learned anything new? What's it like there at the moment?
Yeah, we're still working to, figure out more information. But right now, the scene, it honestly has remained the same. As you just said, Jason, I mean, we're now in hour 3. And this scene, it hasn't calmed down, or we haven't seen less of a police and fire presence since we got here on scene. That means that there definitely is still, a lot going on behind me. You can just see based on the amount of flashing lights that are out here. Since I've been out here, I've also been trying to, check social media. As you heard my coworker, Shawnette, she's checking on those who are displaced, because obviously, it's so close to homes here in Northeast Philadelphia that there are people displaced. We at least know that that home at the corner, those people, there's no way that they are still inside of their home. And actually, since you came to me, I haven't seen too many people in these homes right here come outside or even poke their heads outside. So we don't know if possibly those officers were telling people to, stay inside or possibly leave. But I do know people personally who live in this area, and just out of caution, which is probably a good idea, they are just evacuating the area. So although we haven't heard any official evacuation orders, a lot of people are just getting out of this area. And that's really what Mayor Cherelle Parker was focused on, was people staying safe. As you said, there's a lot of debris on this wet ground here in Northeast Philadelphia, and officials are telling people to not touch it. If you see something, call it in. Because as you saw, my coworker, Steve Keeley, he saw a really, really critical, crucial piece of that jet on the ground. So if you see something like that, do not touch it and just call it in. Right now, as you said, this is just going to be it's going to take some time to really get to the bottom of this. I can't imagine that Northeast Philadelphia is going to be the same anytime soon. I can imagine that this is probably going to be closed off for quite some time. We're going to be out here until it isn't at this point, but there's just a lot of people in the neighborhood that are on edge. We're not expecting something like this to happen. And again, we keep going back to the fact that just 2 days ago, we lost 67 people in the Potomac River due to a plane crash. And then 2 days later, about 2.5 hours away here in Northeast Philadelphia, we now have a plane suddenly come down, crash in the neighborhood, and, you know, it's not looking good. So a lot of people are on edge. Right now, you know, we're trying to get more answers for people, trying to get, you know, some type of clarity about how this could possibly happen. But people are just really on edge about what exactly happened here, Jason.
Yeah, it's just still so shocking. After even all 3 hours later, we're still trying to sort through it. Steve Keeley is kind of walking around the neighborhood trying to speak with people who may have witnessed things. And when you get a chance, control room, check out his tweet. He was at a diner nearby, and Steve is reporting that debris. I think it's the Country Club Diner, which is up Cottman.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's right up Cottman, and he says, okay, this is his tweet. That's the picture of now a boarded up glass, and a piece of plane flew through that glass into that diner, which has since been evacuated. It's empty now, but a piece of plane flew into that diner. Wow. And so that is down the street from where Cheyenne is, and it just, again, a debris field that's stretching city blocks, a quarter of a mile to more. So, and obviously that will be preserved.
Jason,
yes.
I think that speaks to, you know, the amount of injuries that could possibly be a result of this crash. Because, of course, you know, we have the 6 people who were on the jet, but also, you know, there's a lot more injuries that possibly could have come. We know that there were cars on fire. We know that there were homes on fire. As you just said, debris went into a diner. You know, those are a lot of people that are possibly injured.
Yeah.
So that's why we also have a crew going to the hospital, because we are expecting that there are going to be a lot of people that show up that, you know, also were injured as a result of this crash too. So that's something that we also are trying to pay attention to as well. Anytime that there's flashing lights, and we just want to bring your attention to what's going on over here. It looks like police may just be making sure that this car over here does not cross these barriers, the red and yellow tape here. And then there's also a fire truck that here is leaving the scene.
All right, Cheyenne, thank you very much. Steve, I don't know if you can hear Steve Keeley or on the other side of the street. I just saw we just showed your tweet at that diner.
Jason, that's the story I was telling you in Dawn. I got off the air with you. I went in there. The police let me through the line. The manager let me in, and he showed me on his phone this piece. And as I said in the tweet, that piece didn't just go through the window and land on a table. It went through the diner, passed about 3 booths by the salad bar, and then hit a diner on the far side of the diner, eating restaurant. And it hit him in the head. I said, was he okay? He goes, no, I think he's hurt real bad. And so there was a big heavy piece of metal that came flying through the diner, and the diner is right next to the McDonald's you're looking at. And so that, you were talking about a half a mile, that, as Greg pans to the left, right across all 12 lanes of the boulevard, and then smoke. Greg, come back where I am, and you can still see smoke going up over the AutoZone store, which is at the corner of Cottman and the boulevard. And that smoke is about 3 or 4 blocks deep. And the reason the mayor was staying away from saying numbers is because you saw them. They fluctuated. The officials here on scene, as I reported way back when, were told 6 people on that plane, and then the plane people confirmed that. But the mayor also is knowing the scene there. And she and everybody else out here is fearing that that number and the death toll could grow because of the injuries and maybe fatalities on the ground. And I was showing you and talking about SUVs and trucks that were completely on fire, completely gutted out. And that was almost initially afterward. And I had said, I had come from the 5 o'clock live shot, which maybe was a half a mile from here. I was in that traffic, and it was stop and go traffic. And it's a busy mall. It's a busy time of day. And this is maybe one of the busiest intersections in Philadelphia, the Boulevard and Cottman Avenue. And there's a lot of people eating dinner and so many fast food restaurants you talked about, Jason. And I was in that Cane's Chicken place where I was close to the scene, right by the plaza entrance where all those flames were burning. So that is the fear, that there could be more deaths and fatalities than just on the plane itself because of where it crashed and landed. And that also tells you something. These pilots, even when they know that they are in trouble, they always try to steer it away from any other people. Whether
I guess some people are blaming the crash on Trump. Somebody posted, I swear, it's every time Trump takes office, a dark cloud comes over this country, effing country. If Trump is not Satan himself, he's definitely an effing child of his. I guess he's going to blame this plane crash on Philadelphia on DEI too. Trump did make a post on this and said, "So sad to see the plane go down in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. More innocent souls lost. Our people are totally engaged. First responders are already being given credit for doing a great job. More to follow. God bless you all." Man. Yeah, they said, they're going hard on him. I mean, we don't know anything about this plane crash. Democratic Wins Media made a post too. They said, while plane crashes, Donald Trump is off visiting Florida. This isn't leadership, it's incompetence. I don't know. They're coming for Trump, I guess. No. All right, let's see if we can get some any new bits of information. Number of fatalities not known yet. Several homes and cars impacted. Patient on plane which crashed in Northeast Philadelphia was a Mexican girl. New information. Mexican girl and her mother was also on board.
So they were all curious, and they were among the first onlookers who got close and then got told to get away and then got told to move their cars away because there's debris in the McDonald's parking lot and the diner parking lot. And they didn't need to be told there was debris down there because they saw, if they were in there, a piece of the debris fly through the window and across the diner with such force. And then again, I'm going to remind everybody, the air tank from the jet, according to Philly police, laying outside the McDonald's here on the corner of the boulevard. Just that alone, a heavy piece of steel could have done damage for somebody waiting for a bus on the boulevard in the 6 o'clock hour as well. So Governor Josh Shapiro should be here momentarily, and I will give you a warning and a heads up, and I'm sure he'll have the latest information. You can bet he's on the phone with both the White House and the new heads of the National Transportation Safety Board, Federal Aviation Administration, and so forth. And what a busy, bad time for those folks this week in January 2025.
Yeah, you got to think a sleepless of trained Red Cross disaster workers is on the scene to help those who've been displaced. And we're still looking into how many people have been displaced, dozens, if not more. Red Cross goes on to say, we're working with our city, state, and federal partners to assess any other needs we can assist with. So they're going to be helping some of those folks who need a place to stay tonight, and not just tonight, but beyond.
Right, and let's get out to our Cheyenne Corinne, because you just spoke with the Red Cross on the scene there, Cheyenne.
Talk about the Red Cross.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can.
Can you talk about the Red Cross?
Off camera, I actually just spoke to someone who was a part of Red Cross, and they say that they actually do have some people that are displaced. I think this is the first confirmation for sure that there are people who are displaced. But they are telling us that people who are displaced, they say that at least there have been a few families that have come to them. They say that they are asking people to actually come over to this Wendy's right here. Specifically, they are telling people to go to the SEPTA bus. You can see that right there. And they say anyone who has been impacted by the incident and that is displaced, this is where they are telling people to meet. And Red Cross, they say right now they're just trying to gather people's information, and this is where that intake will happen. So again, here at Roosevelt Mall at the Wendy's by the SEPTA is where they are telling people who are displaced to go, guys.
Yeah, we had heard at the time when this happened that multiple residents were reportedly engulfed after this plane crashed. And I know we showed you one that was already, the fire was out, but it was charred, and you can tell it took a beating from this terrible crash. So you have to assume there are several on the other side of Cottman that you hope that people weren't home from work yet.
Right.
You hope that the residence was empty. We will obviously be looking into that, but we don't know yet. But great that the Red Cross is there to help some of these folks who, if they don't have power, they don't have heat, it's a cold night.
Right, it's a
they
terrible
need somewhere
night
to
to be out of your home and be dealing with a disaster of this magnitude. And if your home has caught fire or your car has caught fire and you have no way to get out, so the Red Cross assisting people, and I think we have a crew headed that way to talk to maybe some of the people who've been displaced. We also have a crew headed to the hospital. I think that's the big question tonight, Jason, is we know that there were 6 people on board.
So I guess the mayor is somebody's supposed to be speaking soon. And so we're waiting for that. Give it a little bit of time. I'm sure there's going to be updates through the night, maybe till tomorrow. So I want to see if we can at least hear the update from the mayor. And again, so the patient on the plane was a Mexican girl and her mother. So like I said earlier, they said pediatric, so we know that's a child. And I assumed it was one of the parents, and so it's the mother. So the operator of the crashed Learjet, Jet Rescue Worldwide, runs a fleet of 10 Learjet aircraft. They are the largest air ambulance provider in Latin America and second in North America. The XAUCI involved in the crash was featured in a promotional video from 2015. So let's take a look at that promo video. Avoid the music, I guess. Jet Rescue, this is what the plane looks like. Worldwide Critical Care. You see and I believe from what I read, I thought, I'm gonna have to double check. I thought the origin of the plane is Mexico. I don't know if that's just like that's where it came from, the flight, I guess, because the Mexican girl, I don't know. I saw something where they said the flight had come from there, I thought, or the origin of the plane. That's what the inside looks like. And you see, I would think if something happened to the pilot, I would think the co-pilot would be able to take over. I don't know how it works. I don't know if they have to switch off. Can he just grab the controller and take over? I don't know. And that's literally the same plane right there. XAUCI. Isn't that crazy? The plane right there. Weird that plane was featured in the promotional video. I guess just ironic.
See, right in the middle of your screen is a car that must have been a few feet away from the crash. That car is just a shell,
completely
of its former
burned
self.
out,
Yeah.
and
in the middle of the street.
In the middle of a street. So you
fear the worst.
You fear the worst because it's not a car on the side of the road.
Yeah.
It's not parked. It's not parked. And as we mentioned, this is in the middle of rush hour on a Friday night when everybody.
Cinema just posted. He said, "Don't worry, everything is perfectly normal, guys. Perfectly normal. When another plane crashes tomorrow, there's no need to question things. It's all natural. Things happen, dude. All right, so some more information, because I'm just trying to pull whatever bits and pieces we get as it comes. A pediatric patient returning to Mexico after life-saving treatment. Dude, how crazy is that? After life-saving treatment in the U.S. was aboard the Learjet 55 that crashed in Philadelphia. The flight, sponsored by a charity, carried her, her mother, a pilot, co-pilot, doctor, and a paramedic. That's what Raw Reporting is saying. So they said she already had gotten a pediatric patient returning to Mexico after life-saving treatment in the U.S. Dude.
In there, but it's just your mind wanders when you think what could cause a plane to fall out of the sky like that 30 seconds after takeoff.
And he did mention that it's a sophisticated aircraft, and presumably the pilots were experienced. They were doing a medical transport, a pediatric patient flying from Northeast Philadelphia to Springfield, Missouri, flying into the Branson International Airport with a child and presumably a family member when this tragedy occurred.
Cheyenne, Corinne there, it looks like you were at one of the staging areas where they had brought a SEPTA bus in for anybody who needs a Red Cross assistance so people can board that bus. Are you seeing anybody get on that bus, Cheyenne?
No, I haven't seen anyone get on that bus yet, Jason, but the Red Cross official that I did speak with off camera, he did say that there was one family at least that came to this area, and this is really just like a secure location to where they are trying to process people. Usually when people are displaced, they just need a place where people can know to go to, and that's where they get your information, your number, and they get you set to go and make sure that you have somewhere warm, and in this case tonight, dry to stay. But that's definitely one of the priorities, is making sure that the people who are displaced have somewhere to go and they get your information, and then also just making sure that people again stay out of this area, because where we are stationed, this is probably the closest that you're able to get. I actually have been trying to, hopefully speak with some people in the area, but understandably so, officials are making sure that people who live in the community are staying away from us. So this is honestly the closest that we are able to get, and it's honestly just. So
I see more confirmation. This is posted by a investigative journalist. So they're saying per NBC Philadelphia, the flight was an angel flight, quote unquote, en route to Mexico. And so, yeah, a girl who had been receiving life-saving medical care in the Northeast was returning back to Mexico with her parent. All the occupants of the plane were Mexican, per the station reported. The plane was headed to Tijuana. Wow. I'd like a source of this too. Breaking per NBC Philadelphia. Where are they getting this from? I want to just try to, if possible, confirm. Oh yeah, there it is, confirmed. Here it is. I'll show you guys. At least, so here's what it says from NBC official page here. Update: a girl who was returning to Mexico after receiving treatment for a life-threatening illness in the U.S. was among the 6 people on board that crashed. A pediatric patient. I don't know if they were all Mexican. I mean, it's plausible. It's possible since they're since the plane's origin is from there. Okay, let me look into this. I'll let this play.
In the air, they've got crews on the ground. Every firefighter in the Northeast, I would imagine, is here to try to help those who need it. The power is out from this angle. There are charred cars, homes that have burned, and people who have needed help. This was a good 3 hours ago now when it happened. So here we are on a Friday night, 3 hours later, still trying to make sense of this. The mayor has said if you see debris, first of all, stay away. If you see debris, call 911. Do not touch touch anything, and let the crews and first responders do what they need to do. But that's all the information she had. No other information about the people on the ground or.
Due to privacy law, Gold said he could not give more on the patient's condition, but they are saying, again, a pediatric patient that was receiving care for life-threatening illness. That's so crazy, like how the way like things happen is just so twisted, right? Like I just can't imagine, like you're getting help for your kid, you're doing all this stuff, you're flying to the United States, you're doing all this stuff, and just to be in a plane crash, it's just, oh man. And they said that the patient was sponsored, excuse me, by a third-party charity. Man.
And Corinne's camera. And so crews are just kind of making their way through and still probably looking for anybody who needs help. The mayor was the only one who spoke at a press conference, I want to say about 30 minutes ago. Let's go back to Mayor Sherelle Parker as she addressed the media.
I want to go through some basic facts about what we know for certain right now. An aircraft went down in the vicinity of Roosevelt Mall on Cottman Avenue. This occurred shortly after 6 p.m.
That's the same one. All right, let me see here.
Again, it's Philadelphia that is in the spotlight tonight. This is making national headlines, so much so because of what happened just less than 48 hours ago. Actually, just about 48 hours ago. It was just around 9 o'clock when that Black Hawk collided with the passenger jet over the Potomac River in our nation's capital. That was Wednesday, just about 9 o'clock. And here we are, Friday, just about 9.
Again, back at it. I mean, I see small plane crashes like in the news pretty frequently, but not to this level. Like this, like how big the explosion was. I got to watch. Okay. I haven't seen it to this level. The scanner audio. I can see. I don't know if you guys want to check it out for a little bit. There was a bunch of people listening. It's kind of slowed down. It's died down now a little bit. 6,000 people. When this whole situation first started, there was like 20-something thousand people on the scanner audio.
And then there is no response. Air traffic control says that they are grounding all the flights, no flights coming in or out.
First to runway 24, what's going on down there? Position 755, we have a lost aircraft. We're not exactly sure what happened, so we're trying to figure it out. For now, the field is going to be closed, so no inbounds or outbounds probably.
Again, we walked you through that timeline. The plane was only in the air after takeoff for 30 seconds before it went down. We should also add that we are hearing from a number of people about that debris that you're seeing scattered across the area, and really some rather large chunks. You heard Mayor Parker say, if you see a piece of debris, please stay away from it. Don't touch it. Call 911. You really need to stay. And I've heard from a nurse who said, please, I'm seeing it in your live shots. Tell people to stay away. And I saw with Aaron being with so many people, even though police are telling people evacuate the area, there are onlookers and they want to see. And then you just heard Arthur Walk say, this is not the time to take a piece of a souvenir from this. You need to really, really be safe and stay away from all that debris, Fred.
Okay, Coaster Girl sent me the schedule. Arrived in Miami. Estimated arrival. Wow. Yeah, so it was going from Philadelphia. It was supposed to go to Springfield. It was supposed to go to Springfield, and then from Springfield, it was supposed to go to Tijuana, Mexico. Yeah.
Brittany Shipp with a look at the conditions and details about the map.
Yes, and we've just visually been trying to put this puzzle together, and we do know that this plane took off from Northeast Philadelphia Airport just after 6 p.m., and we also know, just due to the location of the crash site, that it was only able to make it about 4 miles. So the latest reports coming in is that it was in the air less than a minute. These jets tend to move anywhere between 130 to about 170 miles per hour. So again, only in the air seconds before crashing here. Tracking here to the southwest, and the airport is only 3.5 miles from that exact site. We've been watching and studying all of the observations around the time that the plane took off. Yes, it was actively raining. Visibility was reported from the airport at 5:54 at 6 miles. Wind speeds out of the south at 10 miles per hour. Cloudy day, lots of rain, not incredibly heavy, however. So over a long duration of most of today, we will probably only pick up maybe 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch of rain. So this wasn't even heavy rain. It is still currently raining at this time. We have more moderate downpours.
Because low clouds make it difficult to see, take off, and land. They had low clouds.
Difficult, not impossible, but difficult to see, take off, and also land. So we had the low-hanging clouds, the lower visibility, but not incredibly low. 6 miles is still okay. And anytime we see dense fog or incredibly low visibility, we're talking less than a mile. That's not what we had today.
Yeah,
we definitely had weather as part of a factor here in terms of we had cloudy conditions. We have the low-hanging clouds. This is technically our CTC building here in Philadelphia. You can't quite make it out. You can see the visibility is at least decreased, not to a dangerous level, but is decreased visibility at the airport. These were the conditions we were dealing with throughout most of today. Our visibility within the last hour or two has actually increased up to 8 miles. Before then, previously, it was closer to 6 miles. So we will continue to monitor.
Steph said they may have not removed gust locks before flight. I don't know what that is. Gust locks. I have to look that up. John Smith says VFR conditions, meaning it could be just like the Kobe pilot. Or yeah, the Kobe pilot, they have some good videos. Yeah, he went VFR visual. He actually didn't have any training to do instrument. I don't think he knew how to do instrument flight. I don't think. But I thought he was pretty experienced. I don't know why he continued to fly the way he did. I don't know if he felt pressure, even though they said Kobe never pressured him, but I don't know if in his head he just wanted to make the flight. They didn't want to let him down or something. Because I think it was cloudy when they were flying that chopper. And he got disoriented.
30 seconds before crashing.
Yeah. Our Aaron Baskerville is standing by now with more on the ground. Aaron, you've been providing some.
She didn't really say much. She didn't really say anything.
On the ground, who you've encountered, who witnessed all this unfold.
Yeah, quite frankly, just to be honest with folks out there, it's quite unnerving, and it's to me, who I've seen a lot, it's extremely shocking. We've talked about the weather and the rain, and we've talked about the mayor and others wanting people to leave this area, not be onlookers, so to speak. And the more it rains, maybe that works in their favor of folks leaving this area and not staying here. But just a quick turn, really quickly, Mark, right there. There are still folks that are still out here, so they haven't left yet, but the crowd seems to be dying down and thinning as this rain continues, and the rain does come in fairly different waves too. So it comes hard. Right now it's starting to pick up as well. We are still near Cottman and Bustleton, the area we've kind of called our home base for now. We have crews on the other area where the staging area is, and maybe shortly we'll be hearing from Governor Shapiro. But yeah, we've talked to a whole bunch of folks. Last time we talked to you, we talked to the man who was right over here and basically says if he was there a couple minutes later, he doesn't know if he could be one of the folks that was injured or suffering some other sort of fate. He also said that he unfortunately had to see a man that he believes that was on fire, well, a person on fire. I told you that we'd turn that sound around for you. Here's this guy. Listen to him as he describes being here and kind of what he saw a couple hours ago.
Everything just shook. I thought like the buildings fell or something. I look outside and then all you see is a huge explosion. I look outside and bam, you see all this fire. And then I started shaking and then I see a person running on fire, and it was just.
So you saw a person on fire running, right?
Yeah.
Because I saw a video of that, but you actually saw that, right? So once again, are you running outside? Tell me what you're doing at that point.
I didn't know what to do. I was just there. I was just shook because it's like something crazy. You just see somebody on fire. Like that's something you see in a movie.
So he's the one that recorded the clip, I guess? He must be the one that
that's the only
recorded the
thing
clip.
you can really say at that point. That's something you see in the movies. You never expect to see that in person and feet away from you. And I can tell you, while we were talking to him, his voice was cracking. You can tell that he was nervous. He was still scared. He was still on edge. I mean, this is a couple hours after the fact, but he was still had that feeling in his body. And for a quick second, he wasn't even going to talk to us. He kind of didn't want to talk. He was with another family member, and he was moving on down the sidewalk. But he started to talk to me and give me this kind of first-person account that I hadn't heard yet, that I thought was just, startling. And he was gracious enough to give us some of his time and talk to us. But you can just hear it there. We have some more sound from him that we're going to give you guys later on. Over the next hour or so, and just a lot going on here. But once again, here, this is where we've been for most of the night. You can still see a heavy presence of police officers and stuff. But the main thing is that plume of smoke that we were seeing for a long time, that seems to be out now, which is good news. And now we're just continuing to wait to get that update. The mayor saying that there are casualties, there are injuries, but she wasn't ready to give a figure or a number. She said there are homes damaged, there are cars damaged. But once again, this is such a fluid situation where things are changing by the minute, the moment, that she wasn't about to give us a number on that as well. But just being out here for so long, I can tell you that the weather is playing a factor right now in terms of getting people away from the scene, getting people away from the neighborhoods over there where this work continues. And I told you earlier that they had cut power to at least a block over there to continue the work. So folks were being evacuated or told to leave that area as well. But there's still some folks in their cars, but just, it's hard to describe. I keep saying it, and I know I sound like a broken record, but when you're here and you see it and you feel it, it's a whole different scenario.
I feel like I see
when
it
you're up
pretty
close and
often.
personal with a lot of these folks who saw this, and some quite.
I just don't. I mean, I see small plane crashes. I feel like lately, pretty frequently, But sometimes people survive. Sometimes it's whatever. This one was like just massive. There's some other information that's come out. Background information about the aircraft itself. And so they said here that information about the company who operated the jet rescue. It's been in service for over 20 years, based in Mexico City, which we've talked about, licensed/insured in both U.S. and Mexico, operated 9 Lear jets. All jets were owned and not leased. All jets specifically made to transport patients.
American content a little bit of this company Jet Rescue has been around for just over 20 years. It's based in Mexico City. It is licensed and insured in both Mexico and the United States, and as part of its mission, they call themselves the premier provider of international critical care ambulance services from Mexico, Latin American, the Caribbean, the USA, Canada, and worldwide, although they seem to be really focused in Latin America and the rest of the North American continent, a little bit of South America, apparently. They had, before this accident, if their numbers are correct at this point, before this accident, they had 9 Learjets that they operated, and they were very clear about saying they own and operate all their own planes. So it wasn't a leasing situation from somewhere else. And they build their planes as basically flying intensive care units because they're transporting medical patients everywhere. And one of their specialties that they cited was the handling of pediatric patients. So sometimes just children, sometimes babies, but nonetheless, it's one of the specialties involved, Caitlin.
Wow.
Long-range Learjet in the Learjet family of airplanes, well-maintained. So to us, it's a shock, it's a surprise, and we will wait for the result of the NTSB investigation as to what happened here.
And so you heard him there. He said it's a reliable aircraft. He said they constantly do maintenance on it. And so they're really at a loss for what happened here.
And of course, a mystery, as we heard from the aviation expert as well, talking about the descent of it and the speed and that pitch of 45 degrees. And when we hear how experienced the crew was on board and in terms of the plane, how long it is, what, 600, 700 flights?
700 flights
so,
a year, yeah.
A lot of questions and answers still to come.
Claudia, thank you. Yeah, we want to go to NBC 10's Tracy Davidson now, who is standing by in our newsroom with more. Tracy?
The president has just released a statement saying, so sad to see the plane go down in Philadelphia, more innocent souls lost. Our people are totally engaged. First responders are already being given credit for doing a great job. More to follow. God bless you all. We're also hearing from Secretary Duffy, who said that he had briefed the president and he had briefed Governor Shapiro. We are expecting to hear from Governor Shapiro shortly. You heard Mayor Parker say he was on his way. The secretary says, I've offered full support of the Department of Transportation to the governor and local officials. As we know, FAA and NTSB will be investigating. We also know ATF is on scene. We also got this statement from the American Red Cross. Our hearts go out to all those affected by the tragic incident. A team of trained Red Cross disaster workers is on scene to help those who have been displaced. Again, we know that at least 3 homes were impacted by fire. We're working with our city, state, and federal partners to assess any other needs that we can assist with. Any other updates can come from the Office of Emergency Management. We have been updating you with statements that they have been saying. And I think people are listening as we watch the crowds sort of start to dissipate from where Aaron is anyway, and leave the area, be safe, stay away from all the debris. And Office of Emergency Management was very concerned in the very beginning when we had the black smoke with what could potentially be in the air, and they were telling people, get inside and close your doors. Fred and Jackie?
All right, Tracy, thank you. And I want to go back to what Claudia was talking about in terms of just the expert she was talking to about the company that was running this air ambulance flight. 600 to 700 flights a year, one of the most experienced air ambulance companies in the Americas, a well-maintained plane. And when you put that with Arthur Woken in his account of this Learjet 55 being a durable plane, a plane that flies long distances with excellent pilots, and what he said about the pitch of that plane going down, this sounds like an aberration, like something that just wouldn't normally happen, and very troubling to see. Clearly, as we heard from our aviation expert, the instrumentation on this plane was duplicated, and there were many measures in place, checklists that these pilots go through to avoid any kind of malfunction or anything out of the ordinary, and they're well-trained pilots that spend many hours on these flights.
And if I can let our control room know, the button was pressed down, so I was unable to hear a lot of what was being said. I was hearing the control room where the producers are for about a minute of that time. So yeah. I believe that is fixed now.
Yeah, but we are seeing video of this play out over and over again, where you can see the impact of that crash and the reaction from people on the ground. And even at this hour, we're still seeing folks who are shaken and devastated by the impact of this crash, and we're hearing responses and reaction from federal officials. We heard a response from the president and from the governor and from several local leaders here in Philadelphia.
And when we hear descriptions from witnesses like Aaron Baskerville spoke to, saying that he saw devastating scenes. People were describing the cars on fire, and then someone who witnessed a man walking away from the wreckage in flames.
Well, this is almost the same close-up dash cam video. The plane crash in Philadelphia. Turn up the sound. You can literally hear and see the debris hitting the car. See?
And yep.
Move! Michael, move! We can't reflect it.
Wow, you see this one person here, he took off. Yep. There's somebody there, I don't know if they're waiting for food or they were in line or something, right by the Dunkin' Donuts vehicle, and he takes off.
And yep.
Move! Michael, move! We can't reflect it.
Yeah. That's wild, man, to see that.
It is shut down to road traffic. We have the barriers up. We've also seen some people as they walk by. I spoke with another woman who lives just a block down, so really close to where this crash happened. She said she was actually inside with her family celebrating a birthday. When the explosion happened, they stepped outside, kids with them, to see fire, to see the smoke. Just extreme moments of fear, she said, trying to understand exactly what happened. We've heard a lot of that from people tonight, trying to wrap their heads around exactly what they saw and just how close this is, hitting close to home for so many, as you can see, in such a residential area here. We're on St. Vincent again, just on the other side of Cottman. A little bit earlier, I also spoke with a man who was at Cottman and Roosevelt at a gas station there, and he described an extremely frightening scene. He says that he looked up, he saw the sky again turn bright with what he said seemed like an explosion, and then he closed the door because there was debris coming his way. I know we've talked about that debris. He says he gave it a moment, and then he ran toward the flames, he told us. He said that he could see cars on fire, homes on fire, just incredibly terrifying. He said he was still in shock as he was telling me what he saw. We'll take a soundbite from him. You can hear just how emotional it was and what he saw in those moments.
I was at the door over here at the gas station, and all you heard was this loud bang when the whole building started shaking. You literally, right here, you could see a whole flames just engulf inside in the sky. Like there was a huge fireball going in the sky. So I tried to, keep the door shut because debris was flying over here, and customers were trying to run outside and stuff. I didn't want any of our customers to get, hurt by any objects flying in the air. So I tried to keep the door shut. After a while, I opened it up and I went to go run over there to see, what exactly happened. And, a lot of people were over here like in shock, like just scared and like running and screaming. People were crying.
Again, shock, fear, you heard it there. That man also told me he's feeling a lot of sadness. He said that he ran that way because he wanted to do something to help, but when he got there, he said there wasn't much to do. He didn't know what to do other than he was there so early that he was seeing the first responders arrive on scene, and he said that he was just pointing to the firefighters, here, and that was what he was feeling in the moment. Again, just still in shock as he recounted that to me. Back here live in this area, again, we're on St. Vincent, just on the other side of Cottman. These homes affected. You can see some people walking here. Police have been asking people if they're in the area, hey, do you live here? Where's your home? That kind of thing. They're asking people to stay away from this area, as we heard the mayor ask people a little bit earlier today to stay away from the area. It is quiet here. You'll see people walk by every once in a while, but it's pretty quiet. And again, police have this road shut down to traffic as well. Just one more time, I want to show you, they have these barriers up to the actual streets here with homes where these people live. And the people we spoke to, they were going in to get belongings. They told us again that their power and gas shut off in their home. Not sure when it's going to get back on. And the one man I spoke with said he's not really sure where he's going to stay tonight.
1:30 mark.
have a lost aircraft. We're not exactly sure what happened, so we're trying to figure it out. For now, the field...
106 mark, 106, let's see.
E6098 Foxtrot, Northeast Ground, roger. Stand by 1. I'll get back to you when I can.
That's so weird. So this person noticed this, JP, I guess, on this audio, the traffic control. Somebody said kaboom. Why'd they say that? That's so weird. Did he say boom at the 106 mark? I know I'm not bugging. Listen. Come on. All right, let's try refreshing it.
Turkey 6098 Foxtrot, Northeast Ground, roger. Stand by 1. I'll get back to you when I can.
That's so weird. Somebody go kaboom.
By 1. I'll get back to you when I can.
What's that?
Approach to runway 24. What's going on down there? Position 755. We have a lost aircraft. We're not exactly sure what happened, so we're trying to figure it out. For now, the field is going to be closed, so no inbounds or outbounds probably. All right, understand. Thank you. We're 6098 Foxtrot. I'm sure you copied that, but for right now, we're gonna call the field closed.
I don't know. I hear it, kaboom or something when I.
The victims that are going through this right now. But what we've been hearing from residents, I mean, my district that I represent is literally 3 blocks away from this tragedy, and residents are wondering, literally, like, what's next? The plane crash that happened earlier this week.
Well, I don't mean to interrupt you. But right now the mayor's going to talk. I believe the governor's there too. Let's go to them, and we'll come back to us in a little bit.
On Cotman Avenue, and it did occur shortly after 6 p.m. Again, we have no reports on the number of fatalities, so we are asking everyone for their thoughts and prayers for all who may have been impacted and affected by this tragedy. Several dwellings and vehicles were also impacted, and so we are urging people, particularly those families who live in the surrounding area, to please stay home if possible. If you see any debris, and those who are conducting the investigations have repeated consistently, please do not touch anything because it is still an active investigation. Just call 911, please, if you see anything. Investigators and all of our federal, state, and local partners are working as expeditiously as possible during this very difficult time. New information that we want to share with you, that shelter is now available at the Samuel Fells High School located at 5500 Langdon Street. Samuel Fells High School, 5500 Langdon Street. If anyone has been impacted and you need shelter and support, it is readily available for you. In terms of our federal and state partners, I want to say a special thank you to the NTSB. They are here on site now. The FAA, the Pennsylvania State Police, Pennsylvania DEP, of course our police and fire departments, and OEM. I am here with Governor Shapiro. We've been in constant contact since it started. You'll be hearing from him shortly. But I also want to say a special thank you to our additional partners who we have spoken with, our federal leaders, U.S. Senators Fetterman and McCormick. Thank you so very much. All hands on deck. They wanted to make sure any and everything that we needed from the federal government, those supports and services are available. Congressman Evans, Boyle, and Scanlon, our congressional delegation, a special thank you to each of you for your support. I also need to affirm that locally here, Senator Joe Picozzi, Rep. Solomon, Reps. Nielsen, Doherty, who represents this area, and Bellman, Commissioner Dealey, and Councilmember Driscoll was present. If there was ever a time when we needed to affirm what the One Philly philosophy means, the time is now, and I'm very proud about how our federal, state, and all of our local partners are working hard to deal with this tragedy. I now want to turn it over to our governor and to say thank you, Governor, for your support and being here with us this evening.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. The mayor preaches about One Philly. She talks about a unified approach to governing every day. What you're seeing here is a unified response to an awful aviation disaster. For as awful as that aviation disaster was, tonight we also saw the best of Philly. We saw neighbor helping neighbor. We saw Pennsylvanians looking out for one another. I want to reaffirm the comments the mayor said about all of the different agencies working together, and I want to especially thank and salute Philly Fire and Philly Police, who did an extraordinary job this evening. We know that there will be loss in this region, and we want to offer our thoughts and our serious prayers for those who are grieving at this moment. The mayor knows, and I want you all to know, that the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania stands firmly with our partners in the city. We have, at the request of Commissioner Bethel, 45 state troopers who are on the ground right here in Northeast Philly. We have 25 members of our PennDOT team who are here right now. We have members of the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Authority who are here, including our director, Randy Padfield, who joins me behind here. We also have members of DEP, the Department of Environmental Protection, who are here to make sure that any hazardous materials are addressed. And as you heard the mayor reference, we're joined by several state representatives and senators. I want to thank them. They will make sure that whatever is needed for this community gets to this community. I also spoke earlier this evening with the United States Secretary of Transportation, Secretary Duffy, who offered his full support to Northeast Philly. And as the mayor alluded to, he has dispatched 4 members of the FAA to Philly, and there are 4 members of NTSB on their way as well. We have all the resources that we need. And again, as the mayor always says, One Philly, we are unified in our approach to deal with this emergency. And again, I'll just end by sharing my prayers, the prayers of my wife, Lori, our First Lady, and on behalf of 13 million Pennsylvanians, we are all here for Northeast Philly tonight in this very, very difficult moment. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you all. When we have additional information to report, we will come back and give another briefing. But now we want to let our federal, state, and local partners do their jobs and go to work. We'll report back to you when we have more information. Thank you all so very much for your patience and understanding. Thank you.
Not really any updates, really. No official updates. We know more from pretty much the internet, people looking into things and people in the affected area reporting what's going on scene. And yeah, so I don't know. I guess we'll have to see tomorrow. It's a really, really crappy situation. I mean, the flight to the airline's flight, that's horrible with the chopper, and that still needs to be investigated. And this one's horrible too, because a pediatric kid that was getting life-saving treatment. Maybe they felt relieved, thinking, all right, now we're on our way home. We got this life-saving treatment. They probably felt elated just for this to happen. I mean, it's a nightmare. How does this happen? And they were on the way apparently back to Mexico. Well, they were going to go to, I think they were going to go to Springfield and then Mexico. And then the people on the ground affected, I don't know. I think there's probably people on the ground that are hurt, maybe deceased from this accident. Crazy, man. Freak accident. I mean, it's just The explosion from this thing too, it's crazy. I mean, it looked like a bomb went off. That shit looked almost like a nuke went off. Jeez. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna get off for tonight because we've been on all day. But at some point tomorrow, I'm gonna see when they give us an update. See if we can get an official update on this plane crash and what happened. I mean, we're probably not gonna find out what happened for a while. I feel like the American Airlines, we have somewhat of an idea or a theory, a pretty good theory, especially from the experts. You know, but who knows? We'll have to wait for NTSB on both situations. I don't know how I'm going to fly, man. Oh my gosh, after seeing this stuff. And like they said, things have happened mid-flight. Like I've seen, some stuff, but they say typically or statistically, maybe the most dangerous time is taking off and landing. And they had just taken off. Wow. But you guys have a good night, man. Be safe, please. Be safe. And take care of yourselves, all right? I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Take care, guys. Peace. Bye. Bloop, 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 bloop. Good night.